welcome to my second game of General d'Armée 2. This will be a rear guard action on the road to Enghien. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's like I'll show you on a map. Just check this out here real quick. Here's a shot of where the battles have been before. The British were defeated at Tournai, at Luz, at Ath, and now they're retreating towards Enghien. And here's more zoomed in. The road here coming from Oth up to the northeast is where this battle will occur as the French try to stop them. So the 7th Coalition been beaten a couple times. They lost at Tournai. I can't remember the other ones. And they lost at Ath in our last battle. And now they're pulling back to try to reestablish a new line and get closer to the other 7th Coalition forces that are waiting to be painted. Basically they're moving to the northeast, and now the French have come upon their rear guard as they continue to move. So the coalition forces under Wellington the rear guard is set up trying to protect this road. And the French are going to try to French and allies are going to try to do some damage while the rest of the force continues to pull back. All right, once again, we're on a 7-foot by 15-foot battlefield. Army du Nord under Napoleon is on this end. Forces of the 7th Coalition are at that end. Features of the battlefield, besides hills and some trees, crossroads are a major captured point or objective for the French. If the Army du Nord can seize the crossroads, they'll get a bonus to initiative. There's no built-up areas in this one, so that's the main initiative. That's the only way to gain extra initiative. Victory points. So the Army du Nord can score a point or victory point for every brigade they get on the road here, the east-west road to Enghien. And the coalition can get a point for every brigade of the guard they get off the east end of the same road. So the General Carmichael could either decide to get 4 victory points, get all 4 guard battalions off the table, or he can stay and fight and try to prevent the French from even penetrating the line. The coalition can get an automatic victory if they can get to turn 15 without any French units getting to the road, or they win at turn 15 if they have more points than the French do. This river it's pretty much a dried up stream. It's going to be very shallow. It'll take 6 inches off the move. So as troops cross it, they can also skip the whole paying points and just go across the bridge. I think I've got everything right on the initial setup. I've got the right amount of bold brigade commanders. I've got the right amount of caissons for each force. The only rule I've kind of broken immediately is all 4 of the corps commanders are campaigners, and campaigners can only have, I believe, 2 reserve battalions, and one of the I think it's actual Marshal Ney is actually has 3 reserve brigades. So he is kind of in violation of that one rule, but hopefully we'll forgive that one. No corps adjutants in this one. No divisional adjutants, because they're all tied up as campaigners and didn't get any crazy rolls on those. But we do have Napoleon and Wellington both have corps adjutants, and they also have 2 caissons to distribute to out to either divisional commander, just because they're both phenomenal, and they've got 2. You get 1, and you get 1 for every 2 divisions you command. So there's your 2. Go over forces. We've got some trees here, big hills. I'll get down. Well, you'll see that when I do the forces. Most of the 7th Coalition guns are elevated. Every artillery battery except for the French Corps Artillery Brigade is elevated. Just didn't have a hill in the center of the battlefield, so sorry for your luck there, General Daumont, who was Captain Hesitancy in the last game. So let's see if he can redeem himself and actually get these guns to fire. I made great use of my whiteboard to keep me organized, and we'll go over the forces right now. Commander-in-Chief of the Army du Nord is Napoleon. He has a corps adjutant with him. He's located in the center of the battlefield, and he's right behind the corps artillery. Probably going to push Daumont out of the way at some point and take over command of the guns, because he loves to do that. He'd love to lead a cavalry charge, but that would be stupid. Commanding 1st Division on the Napoleon's left is Marshal Soult, and we'll go over his brigade commanders. Oh, he also has 2 artillery caissons. On the Army du Nord's extreme left flank is 1st Brigade under General Clouseau. He's a standard brigadier commander. He has 4 battalions of the 36th Infantry Regiment. He also has an artillery battery with him. And so hope he can do some good. Oh, and he has 4 skirmish bases in front of his troops that are they're in line. A little bit different here. 2nd Brigade in heavy column with 4 skirmish bases ahead of them is General Grenier. He's a standard brigade commander, and he has 4 battalions of the 70th. Also under Soult is 5th Brigade, General Bru. He is a standard brigade commander. He has 4 battalions of the 27th Infantry Battalion, or Infantry Brigade, sorry, or Infantry Regiment, I apologize. And he has 4 skirmish bases, and he's next in line, almost in the center here. Soult's last deployed troops, non-reserve, are the 11th Brigade, is the Corps Artillery Brigade, with Daumont. And yeah, bunch of 12-pounders ready to rock the house. Now we've wandered over into the French right, under 2nd Division, under Marshal Ney. He has his caisson with him, with 2 caissons with him. And he's ready to lead the army's right flank. Just a little off the center is Marshal Ney's 1st Command, which is 6th Brigade under General Mazarny. He's a standard brigade commander. He has 4 battalions of the 105th. I only let Ney deploy 2 brigades at first, so that's why he gets the extra reserve battalion. But over here on the Army du Nord's extreme right is 3rd Brigade under Peugeot. He's a standard brigade commander. He has 5 battalions of the 69th Infantry Regiment. And let me pan to the left a little bit here, if you'll forgive my cinematography. He also has artillery battery up on the hill. For reserves, let's start with Ney, because we just finished him up. On the 3rd turn, he has 4th Brigade under Husson, which is the 9th Léger. Husson is a bold brigadier. On turn 4, the 10th Brigade is the Cavalry Reserve under Emile. He's a standard infantry brigade commander. They'll come in then. And then on the 5th Brigade, on the turn 5, the 9th Brigade under General Jaisleret, who's a bold brigadier commander automatically. He is the Guard Brigade, 5 Guard battalions. They can come in earlier if with using commands, basically. There's several mechanisms. The Corps Commander has one, and divisional orders can also bring them in. Soult only has 2 reserve brigades. He has the 7th Brigade under Jamin, who is a standard brigade commander commanding the 4th Italian, and they have 4 brigades. And he has the 8th Brigade coming on the 4th turn under Campy, who is a bold brigadier, and he has 3 Vistula Legion battalions and 2 Swiss battalions. Commanding this rearguard action, Wellington has left the main line and come back to try to protect his army in this road with the crucial intersection. You know, that can supply his forces as they try to make their way back to Enghien. And yeah, he has 2 corps caissons he can hand out to either one of the divisional commanders. He also has a corps adjutant to reroll 1s on his corps when we do that corps process with the 4 dice. Commanding the coalition's right flank, the Earl of Uxbridge. He has his caisson with him with 2 caissons with him, and he has no divisional ADC or divisional adjutant, excuse me. On the coalition's far right flank is General Johnstone with 5th Brigade. He's a standard brigade commander. He has artillery battery with him, and he has 4 British line battalions and 4 skirmish bases of British rifles. Next under Uxbridge is the 4th Brigade. That's General Mitchell, standard brigade commander, times 4 British line battalions, including the Royal Welsh Fusiliers. Yes. Let's see if they can do it again. They're hiding behind the 1st Royal Scots. They're not really hiding. They don't hide from anybody. But they've picked up the pieces and they're ready to to do it again like they did last battle. They were amazing. To the right of the Grand Manor, up on the crossroads, still under Uxbridge, 7th Brigade under von Steinmetz. He's a standard brigade commander. He has 2 Austrian infantry battalions, 1 Hanoverian, and 1 Prussian. They're kind of almost in a reserve fashion, but they can come down to either the center or down to the right, whichever the Earl of Uxbridge needs of them. Behind this redoubt, which I should have pointed out in the features of the battlefield, is the British Corps Artillery, 11th Brigade under Hawker. This unit will fall under Picton, and I'll show him in a minute, but that's the British 9-pound longs getting ready to hammer away at the French center. Hawker is a standard brigade commander. Major General Picton got a new umbrella and he's back out there defending the coalition's left. First up for Picton is 3rd Brigade under General Adams, standard brigade commander, with 2 KGL line battalions, 1 artillery battery, and 2 Hanoverian field battalions. KGL units are classed as veteran, the Hanoverians are reservists. Continue with Picton, 2nd Brigade, General Stewart, standard infantry battalion, standard brigade commander. He's commanding 4 British line battalions and 1 Hanoverian line battalion. Sorry if the sound's going in and out. I'm looking back over my shoulder here at my whiteboard. I'm still loving it. And then trying to keep with tradition, Wellington has deployed a reverse slope technique here. This unit is the guys I just painted. I showed in my last video. This 1st Brigade under General Halkett. He has 5 British line battalions, including 2 of the brand new ones and the restored 4th King's Own and the 35th. So hopefully they don't fall into that phenomenon of the new unit getting smashed. There's Picton's caisson with the dice showing 2. I just finished up extra caisson for each, so that this way I have each divisional commander has their own caisson. Reserves for Picton include 6th Brigade, General Stedman being a standard brigade commander, times 3 Russian, one of which is guard, and they did awesome last game, and 2 British line battalions with them. And then the 8th Brigade coming on turn 5, General Pack with 4 Highland battalions. Oh yes, they did decent. They got really they got a bit of a raw deal. Also found out there was plenty of mistakes I made in my first game of this. if units retreat through other units, they only unform units for the first 6 inches. So when I was really pounding through the British lines, I was really messing up there. So hopefully I will fix a lot of the mistakes that I made in the previous game. For Uxbridge, his reserves, 9th Brigade is the Guard Brigade coming on the 4th turn. They'll be in line basically, and they can decide if they want to leave it. And Carmichael is a bold brigade commander. He's an attempt to, march the way across the battlefield and not engage and bring victory, at least for 4 victory points if he can get all of his battalions off the board. And then 10th Brigade on the 4th turn as well will be the Cavalry Brigade under Ponsonby. He's a standard brigade commander. With 5 brigades, Uxbridge will have 5 ADCs. This kind of works out. 6 brigades for Picton, he'll have 6 ADCs. It's either 6 or 7, you get 6. So it's not because they have that many, just so you know. Ney will have 5, and Soult will have 6. And you do get all of your ADCs right away, even when the troops are off the board in reserve function, reserve capacity. You get the ADCs anyway, and it just kind of makes it even better because you don't have to worry about the hesitancy, because those guys don't roll to see if they're hesitant when they're in reserves. So the grand experiment in this battle for me is I always seem to fall on French attack columns just because of black powder, of all the benefits the French get in that. So I'm going to try to do French in line. They do have some heavy columns, but and just do that. And then the big thing for me is to pound away with artillery. I didn't use any caissons last turn, or last battle, so that feels kind of so I'm going to pound away on the caissons, get multiple artillery assaults going, really try to work the heck out of both sides skirmishers, try to use them a bunch, and a lot of counter batteries. Just try to see who wins the artillery game, who wins the skirmish game, and then the French to advance. That'll be it. The French are just going to try to, maybe not go from everywhere at once, but we'll see. That's the key thing, I think, when I read listened to Check Your Leader's tactics for this. You can't attack all everywhere like I did last time. I'll really do heavy duty artillery in one area and skirmishers in one, and then try to do an attack. If that fails, go ahead and switch over and attack from somewhere else. Turn 1 coming up on a rear action battle here, and it should be phenomenal as always, as far as I know. We start off with corps orders, the 4 dice. I did make a couple mistakes. You can only use the spy once. A couple of those corps orders can only be used one time, and there'll be no need for the sappers this time because of there's no built-up areas. But let's just try something a little bit different here, and sit back and relax and enjoy a wonderful game of General des Armées 2. Alright, we'll go with Napoleon's corps order dice first. He gets the whole shitty shebang bang. Good job, Napoleon. Alright, see if Wellington can match that move. He kind of punts it and just gets the red dice and the blue dice. Alright, let's do French ADC availability. We'll roll Ney and Soult at the same time. Holy cow, that was terrible. Napoleon immediately spends his red die because Soult rolled every single one on the planet. Both of the French divisional commanders end up with 3 ADCs after Napoleon's assistance. Alright, let's do French ADC availability. We'll roll Ney and Soult at the same time. Holy cow, that was terrible. Napoleon immediately spends his red die because Soult rolled every single one on the planet. Both of the French divisional commanders end up with 3 ADCs after Napoleon's assistance. All right, let's see if Picton and the Earl of Uxbridge can do any better than their French counterparts. Uxbridge ends up with 5 ADCs with that double 6 to make up for the one he missed. Wellington immediately gives his red die to Picton, so now he has 4 ADCs to work with. Ney ordered 3rd Brigade's artillery battery to go artillery assault with a reroll with his 3. Soult could only do one of the the 2 batteries in the core artillery brigade to go artillery assault with a reroll. Picton on the left did a skirmish order on 6th Brigade and also a skirmish tasking on the KGL Brigade as well. He also did an artillery assault on the KGL's artillery battery. And Uxbridge went all out on his core artillery brigade. He did double artillery assaults plus a reroll on the closest artillery battery. So, he spent a case on to do that. So he's got 1 left. Just coming out of the gate swinging, Earl of Uxbridge. All right, we'll do the French first to see if they have any hesitant brigades. They're all marked. We'll do all 6 brigades at once. Right now, there are no bold brigade commanders on the table for the French. In true Demon fashion, he was the only guy who was hesitant, but he was the only guy with a reroll. Let's see what he can do better. Alright, everything of the French is active on turn 1. Alright, 7th Coalition forces, all marked, all 7 brigades. None of them are bold, so it's just straight up rolling here. For the Earl of Uxbridge, General Johnstone on the far coalition right flank goes hesitant. And on the far left, General Stewart goes hesitant, losing his skirmish tasking. Wonderful markers there. Yes, by Battlefield Accessories in Australia. Thank you very much, sir. Right. Coalition forces had 1 brigade per division, so that will not affect initiative at all. So it'll be an even roll for initiative, 2 dice each. First roll is a draw. It's since it is British commanders against French, there's no kind of French automatically win roll. So we'll redo it again since this is the first turn. Wellington pulls it out for the coalition. Way to go. Alright, nobody's in charge range, so we'll go on to tactical movement. For coalition, tactical movement, get the skirmish screens moving out. Staying within 18 inches of formed line units, so that was a rule I remembered this time. They have to peel away if anything gets within 3 inches of them. Also, von Steinmetz moved his boys out 6 inches, advancing in heavy column, looking beautiful. And just because your main unit is hesitant in the new rules, that doesn't mean your skirmishers can't move, so they're on the move. French tactical movement is mostly done by the voltigeurs on the right flank, moving out to meet the British. Same, it's pretty much identical across the line. We begin the deadly skirmish firing. Over here on the left flank, no one will be in range, but they have also advanced. Alright, there is no reserve movement. No one's bringing any forces in. So we will move on to, I believe, firing now. It'll be skirmish firing will be next. Starting off with coalition firing first. Alright, we'll go right to left. Start over here with the British. Is it five skirmish bases, but they're rifles firing on the French. 7 skirmish dice, hitting on 4s. Wow. Half a hit, no damage. That's pretty sad. Alright, next up, skirmish screen from the King's German Legion. They would be 5, but their rifles 6 shots, 6 dice, but they're on skirmish tasking, so 8 shots. Wow. They pop 2 casualties onto that French skirmish screen, and they have to do discipline check. They need a 7+ to avoid bad things. Ah, the French voltigeurs love it. They keep it together. Going down the line, now we've got what do we got? 6 shots coming at these French voltigeurs. The French suffer 1 casualty there. That's the end of the coalition skirmish fire, as the French will return fire. Alright, these French are kind of shocked that the British shot so terribly at them. 6 shots going back at them. Just like that, 2 casualties on the British skirmish line. Next over, these French that took some casualties, they'll still fire back with 5 dice. Been too busy trying to hide behind blades of grass and stuff. They don't do any casualties to their counterparts. 5 shots coming from these French voltigeurs. They inflict 1 casualty on their British rifles. That's the end of the skirmish fire. Going on to artillery fire. British guns of 3rd Brigade are on artillery assault. They're going to fire counter battery at the French artillery up on the hill. Shots at long range. And they wouldn't even be able to reach if they weren't elevated. 50 inches. Inferior fire table with 2 casualty die. Do inflict 1 casualty on those 8-pounders. British battery on the far right is a hesitant brigade, so it can only fire to effective range, so the guns are silent. Both batteries of the British or coalition artillery brigade, corps artillery brigade, opening up counter battery style across the valley into the French corps artillery. And they both have assault fire. Oh, the battery on the right gets lucky. It is the first turn, so they don't go low on ammo, but they will take a fatigue casualty. Their 2 casualty dice do inflict 2 on the British artillery battery to the right. And the battery on the right side of the corps artillery brigade for the French takes 1 casualty. So they get hit a little bit. It's the end of coalition shooting. 3rd Brigade's guns, they're going to take that crap laying down. They fire back counter battery style. They also have artillery assault. At 50 inches, they are at long range as well. We get an inferior shot with 2 casualty dice. The casualty dice for the French do nada, but the 11 does 2 casualties and a discipline check. These guys are veteran gunners, so they'll have to roll a 6+. Oh boy, they go unformed. Can't keep it together. The battery on the right is going to fire at effective range at this skirmish column. It's at 17 inches, so they're not at canister. They're going to blast away at them. And the other battery is going to fire, sorry about my photography, is going to fire at the artillery, which is going to be like a weak shot. Blow away a skirmish base. Wow, they still keep 1 casualty on the second gun. Was at long range against that kind of cover was that pathetic shot. They needed a 4 to even do anything, so no casualties there at all. Clouseau's 9-pounders are free to unload across the valley at the British guns. Just rolling 2 dice, an inferior, I think it's a weak, what is it called? Where this rolled 2 dice, it's the one down. Inferior fire. You got standard, inferior, and weak. They fire across and hit him for 1 casualty. Nice. We pick up the hesitant markers and we're done. Nice. Turn 1 in the books. Got some skirmish fire out there. Artillery blasting away at each other. First blood. One of the skirmish bases for I think it's not the KGL. This brigade right here. They lose one of their guys. They get hit by cannonballs and blown to pieces. And then way down here, they didn't quite make contact, but the French are able to reach out and touch them with their 9-pounders and inflict 1 casualty down here at the far end. All right, off to turn 2, corps orders. All right, let's start the next turn. It'll be let's do Wellington's corps order dice. Well, that was terrible. Wellington's going to re-roll one of the ones. Just wanted to keep that option open in case he needed to ride the line. He does have his ADC to offer as well for this turn. Let's go over to Napoleon. Napoleon continues to click like a well-lubed killing machine. Alright, he's got all of his corps orders available to have some fun with these gentlemen. Alright, let's see how many ADCs are available for each divisional commander. We'll start with the British. Or actually, we'll start with the coalition forces. Earl of Uxbridge rocks the house with gets them all plus a double 6, so he gets 6 corps orders. Major General Picton rocks 4 corps orders, missing 2. All right, let's roll the French ADCs. Let's see how Soult and Ney do. Soult is able to get 6 ADCs. What a boss! He's used to stealing stuff. Ney's getting crazy, but he rolls a bunch of 2s. Napoleon immediately gives him his red dice and he's done with his corps orders and moves Ney up to 4 orders. ADC ADC orders for Uxbridge are the following. He's going to spend all 6. It's going to give a skirmish tasking plus a reroll to General Mitchell and 4th Brigade. Hopefully that'll assist his gentlemen out here in their firefight with the closing French in the center. On the far right, he's just going to give a reroll to General Johnstone just to avoid, hopefully, any opportunities for hesitancy. And then did a forwards tasking with a reroll on von Steinmetz for 7th Brigade, making a hole for reinforcements to come in the next turn or 2. Wellington has given his red die to Major General Picton, which took him up enough points to do his massive ADC tasking, which was to spend his last artillery caisson, since he is over the Corps Artillery Brigade. Both batteries in the Corps Artillery Brigade have been given assault fire, and he's put a reroll on the whole brigade. So maximum firepower with 5 ADCs. Alright, all the brigade commanders have been marked. Let's see who's hesitant. Mitchell was one of the hesitant brigades, but he has a reroll. Johnstone is the other. He has a reroll as well. All of the coalition forces are active this turn. Oh yeah, baby. Soult is going to match his counterpart Picton. He puts 1 ADC reroll on Clouseau over here on the far left. And then he goes in double with the artillery assault for both batteries in the core brigade, artillery brigade, and a reroll for Domon, who always needs a reroll because he is a hesitant machine. Now he's going to put an artillery assault on his guns on the far right hill, and then he's going to order his first units begin the advance as the 4 battalions of the 105th get the order to march forward. Here we go. They get a forwards tasking and a reroll. All right, all the units, our brigades have been marked. Let's see if anyone's hesitant or not. And the French need to start making a hole for the reinforcements that'll be coming on the table. Soult has definitely got some command confusion out here on the left. All 3 of these brigades are hesitant. That's not good. Bru, he's hesitant, no reroll. Grenier, he's hesitant, no reroll. But Clouseau on the end down here does have a reroll. Let's see what happens with him. Clouseau's able to take advantage of that adjutant kicking him in the butt, and they'll be not hesitant. But the French do have two hesitant brigades in the same division, so they'll be rolling 3 dice, taking the lowest 2 on initiative. And that'll happen right now, baby. It was definitely an opportunity for Napoleon to seize the initiative there, but he rolls himself a 3. Wellington wins with a 4, which is kind of pathetic, but it's a victory. Coalition will maintain initiative over the Frenchies as we move into tactical movement. All right, von Steinmetz gets to add 2d6 to his already impressive 6-inch move. And what did Vader say in Empire Strikes Back? Impressive. Most impressive. Von Steinmetz's heavy column advancing into that gap there to support the coalition right. Yes. Looking good, baby. Representing. That's basically the end of movement for the British. At least, well, there is, I say for tactical movement, but they have no reserves coming in this turn either, so that'll be the end of their movement. Von Steinmetz was it. The rest of their skirmishers are engaged or can't move any farther forward because of the 18-inch staying in range of formed units rule. All right, let's move over to the French, see what they've got up their sleeves. Let's see what Mazarini's forward tasking does for him. The Army du Nord starts its slow general advance. On the right flank, Peugeot moves forward 6 inches with his 5 infantry battalions. Mazarin gets off to a, well, pretty non-overwhelming. Is that the best word I got? I can't think this morning. Sorry, my caffeine isn't kicked in yet. Or underwhelming. 10-inch move with a forwards tasking, so not a high performer. Kind of got a little bit of a not so much happening down here as these 2 brigades are both in confusion. Grenier and Bru are kind of staring at each other. And then on the left flank, Clouseau advanced 6 inches with his guys keeping pace with the other flank. His skirmishers have moved into the woods and can engage the British rifles, also from better cover, so they've actually seized the woods. All right, there is no reserve movement, so that's the end of the movement phase. We go on to skirmish shooting. Start with coalition skirmishers way down at that end. 2nd Brigade's skirmishers are going to open up with I think 7 dice. They've got 5 bases. They get the extra 1, and they got rifles against the French, and see if they can shoot better than last time. They put 2 casualties onto the French skirmishers. KGL skirmishers against the French here. What are they going to do? 6 shots. They're able to inflict another casualty, removing a French skirmish base, cutting them down to 3 bases. Alright, these gentlemen, for the British, they have 3 bases, but they are of the skirmish tasking. So they'll get an extra 2 die, I believe, there too. 6 shots against the French. They're only able to inflict 1 more casualty on those skirmishers, so they're up to 2 for that base. Over here on the British right flank, the General Johnstone's 95th attachments engaged in the rumble in the jungle. They're firing against the voltigeurs hidden in the trees. They fall down to 5 dice because of the French occupying the woods. Voltigeurs lose 1, take 1 loss. Alright, that's the end of the coalition skirmish firing. These guys are out of range over here. Now the French skirmishers will return the favor. Over here on the far right, Peugeot's skirmish line firing 6 dice at their counterparts. They do get 1 loss on these guys, and they lose the skirmish base. Oh yes, the French trying to win over here. Moving down the line, these French, after they lost a base, will only have 4 shots back at the British. They're able to inflict 1 casualty on those gentlemen. Panning to the left, we'll have 5 shots from these voltigeurs at their at the 95th. Big time missed opportunity there to get the Brits up against the ropes there. Oh, sorry about your luck. Terrible shooting. They kind of stick their bayonets in the ground and open fire into the dirt. And the final skirmish act of turn 2, right? Sorry. 5 shots from the voltigeurs in the trees. They're able to return the favor and inflict 1 casualty on their counterparts. Alright, going over to the artillery firing section. This unit is unformed, so they moved and got rid of they're reformed. They're not able to fire at this turn. No, check that. They are considered moves, so they'll just fire a weak battery, counter battery against the French guns over there. So they're going to fire 1 dice with a big old chance for low ammo and casualty dice and all kinds of fun stuff. Fatigue casualties. Alright, here comes the 1 shot. Labricashaw, they miss. Alright, Picton's used both of his caissons on these guns. Looking for a donation from Uxbridge, who won't be giving him one. I don't think he can either. But Napoleon can. I mean, not Wellington. Napoleon's not going to give him crap. Wellington is able to donate with using his core orders to a caisson to Picton for further usage. Battery number 1 on the left unloads across the valley, continuing their suppressive fire on the battery to the left. Battery number 2 for the core artillery grand battery gets hammered. They're up to 4 casualties. They got to take a discipline check. They are veteran, so it'll be a 6 or more. But I think with 4 casualties, it takes away their artillery assault from that gun. It cancels it. I don't think you can do a artillery assault with 4 casualties. They pass the discipline check, but they are beat down. Battery number 2 over here fires away at their counterparts. They also get hammered with 2 more casualties, pushing them to 4, which might take away their artillery assault. Also, the first battery rolled a double 6, so they get a destiny roll. Holy cow, which causes Daumont to falter. What a nightmare. You did your destiny. They get hammered, baby. 5th Brigade's 6-pounders. They fire across at the French guns on the far British right, or coalition right, excuse me. They would not be in range if they weren't elevated, so that pays off, being up on a hill. definitely be inferior fire, but here it comes. Those blasts have no effect at all. Just can't quite find the range. They're going to dial it in here for the next round. Peugeot's battery on assault fire, unloading across the valley at their counterparts. Guns on the French right are definitely winning this artillery duel, as the British are up to 4 casualties now. Oh. Alright, this nightmare in the center for the French. They lose their assault fire ability because they have 4 casualties, plus they're faltering, so they're considered a hesitant brigade. The caisson that they were going to spend is returned by the rules. I read that one. Back to Soult, so he's back to 2. They can only fire to effective range, so they're going to go ahead and blast away at the skirmish line in front of them. Both batteries. Both of these blasts will be inferior barrages because they are firing at skirmishers. They're up to 2 casualties now with their 3 remaining bases. On the far left, Clouseau's guns firing across the valley, trying to suppress the British guns. Oh, they're nickel and diming these guys. They suffer another casualty. They're up to 2. Okay. That'll be the end of turn 2. Just clicking along pretty good here. Having the reserves off table and also knowing the rules, paying massive dividends to how fast this game is progressing. I'm sure I made a couple little mistakes, but I'm feeling really good. Rolling smoothly, and so far so good in my opinion. Alright guys, on to turn 3. In turn 3, the French will be dealing with a faltering brigade here, so Soult is going to have to sacrifice something. Alright, time for corps orders rolling for turn 3. We'll do the Duke of Wellington first. He's been struggling on the first 2 turns. Let's see how he does in this one. He won't be riding the line this time, but he's got 3 out of the 4. See how Napoleon does. Time to shine, baby. No corps level reinforcements for Napoleon. Oh. ADC time for the coalition. Let's see if any are available for Picton and the Earl of Uxbridge. Definitely too early for CNC commands. We're just scratching the surface on this battle. The Earl of Uxbridge only got 2 ADCs available. Wellington immediately coughs up his red dice just because his divisional commander is struggling. He's up to 3 now, and Major Picton got 3 on his own. So they have 6 for the 2 of them. That's not the best. Let's see how Napoleon and Ney and Soult do. Much better for the French forces of the Army du Nord. Ney ends it with 5 ADCs available, and Soult beats him out again and gets 6. Oh, with a double 6. Makes up for the 1 he lost there on the Roland. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, French definitely have an advantage. Soult is going to have to pay at least 1 for a divisional morale order, with Damon getting absolutely demoralized by the Destiny artillery shot by the coalition's Grand Battery. But we'll start over with ADC assigning over here with the coalition. Be a lot easier with just 6 total. Uxbridge is going to put skirmish taskings on all 3 of his infantry brigades with no rerolls. Only had 3 to go. Picton is going to put a brigade reroll on the Corps Artillery Brigade, and then skirmish taskings on these 2 brigades for spending all 3 of his. Ney's doing an artillery assault and a reroll over here, and a skirmish tasking with a reroll over here on the right flank. Gonna try to make the push because he always just knows a whole nother brigade back behind there. It's got the divisional morale and a reroll here. Brigade attachment, skirmish fire, and a brigade attachment. All the coalition brigades are marked. Let's see who's hesitant and who's ready to go. Who's ready to follow some orders. Bit of a disaster for the coalition as Mitchell in 4th Brigade goes hesitant, and so does von Steinmetz. So it'll be a -1 to initiative, an extra die for initiative, basically, just because Earl of Uxbridge has 2 hesitant brigades in his division. All right, see what the French can do. Can they take advantage of this? It's all with the center too, which kind of is crazy. And I was going to push on the right, so I kind of might have screwed that up for the French. One to pay attention to is Domon. He's the black die to. Napoleon is still holding on to his core orders too. Domon rolled a 6, so he's just hesitant now. He's no longer faltering. He's rallied, so that's exciting for the. That would suck to have those guys all flee off the table. Mazarny has gone hesitant in the center, so the entire center of the battlefield is having issues. And Grenier also went hesitant, but he has a reroll, so we'll do him now. Napoleon rushes forward and joins Mazarny and slaps him in the butt. Tells him to, I'm here, baby. He's riding the line. Hesitant is gone from that brigade. They're ready to go. So good spending of the blue die. Won't be able to do it next turn, but yes, clutch. He thought he was going to lead a cavalry charge, but instead he's just motivating an infantry charge. All right, initiative time. French rolling 2 die. Coalition rolling 3, taking the bottom 2. Napoleon's act of ultimate command basically gets the men fired up, and he seizes initiative from the coalition, and the French will begin their turn 3 with a bang. Charge phase, nah, no one's in charge range. We'll go on to movement. The Army du Nord begins their general assault across the entire front as they begin to move forward. Nothing crazy, no forwards orders, just marching towards the objective. A little bit slower than going at it with forwards orders and attack columns, but it's okay. I like these heavy columns. They're kind of cool looking. They look kind of foreboding. Like, get it, baby. Okay, that is standard movement for the French. I'm not sure if I know the von Steinmetz's skirmishers are going to move because he was going to move his entire brigade, but they're kind of paralyzed. Yeah, that might be the extent of coalition movement there. They get in range as there's nothing else really to move. They're kind of static, waiting for the French as they close in on them. Oh, we're looking good, baby. These guys are kind of just holding. They know they're freshly painted. They're going to wait. They're like, I don't know about this. We go out there, we're going to get smoked. They're looking good, though. All right. It's the end of tactical movement. And guess what? It's turn 3. So here comes some British or coalition. I'm saying British, not even British forces. Here comes some reinforcements for the coalition. All right, when you thought it was safe to take the kids outside to play, oh, here comes 6th Brigade. As General Stedman leads on 3 Russian infantry battalions, one of which is guards, and 2 British line battalions. Oh, they're ready to play. Right behind Wellington, they're coming in for Picton's division. That's a big boost to the coalition center. Oh, that's instant thickness. Yes. Enough troops to actually consider, hey, maybe we do a counterattack, give them the order, a divisional order to go on the offensive. That'd be kind of fun. But maybe later. We'll figure out what's going on right now. Right now it's time for, that's the end of reserve movement. So the French could not react to that, which is really kind of a cool rule. I just thought of it where to put it right when I got onto the when I walked over there. I was like, yeah, let's come right here. So now we're on to the shooting phase, and we'll start off with skirmishers. French skirmishers going right to left, banging away at the their counterparts. All right, 3rd Brigade. They passed an order, so they're active. So their ADC for skirmishers is in effect. They're going to get 8 shots at their counterparts. It's 2 casualties and a a discipline check on those skirmishers. That's a pass for the 95th Rifles. They love it. All right, 4 shots from the French skirmishers from Mazarini's 6th Brigade. They bumped those gentlemen up with an extra casualty, and they're up to 2 now on that skirmish base. Bru is going to get 5 shots from his voltigeurs at the opposing skirmishers. They remove a skirmish base, knocking them down to 2. That's I think it's a danger zone there. I got to read that rule. It's time to recall these guys as soon as possible. Sorry about my camera. Their Grenier skirmishers are going to engage their counterparts. First time, first shooting, baby. They're going to have 5 shots. They're able to accomplish 0. Not so bueno. And on the far left of the Army du Nord, Clouseau's voltigeurs in the trees. 7 shots, because they have the skirmish tasking against the British skirmishers. They inflict 2 casualties and a discipline check. They also remove a base. We got a discipline check on the 95th, needing a 6. All right, they keep it together barely. That's great. Going back to the other side, we'll return fire from the British skirmishers. On the far left of the coalition, Stuart skirmishers, 4 bases left. They are on the skirmish tasking, and they're 95th Rifles, so we're looking at big old 7. Check that. Steve cannot do math. We're looking at 8 die coming back at the French. They blow away a skirmish base with 2 casualties and a discipline check on the voltigeurs. The Frenchmen go unformed. Oh, sorry about your luck. British are definitely getting the upper hand over here on the far French right flank. 6 dice shooting back at the French up here. It's from the KGL gentleman. They're able to inflict a casualty on those Frenchmen. The center here is beat down British skirmish line with 2 bases left. 4 shots. Trying to survive the turn. They know they're going to get hit by artillery. That's not going to be good. They're going out with a bang, not a whimper. They are able to inflict a casualty, removing a skirmish base on the Frenchies there. Von Steinmetz' skirmishers are going to unload onto do their first shot, see if they can do better than the French did on their first one. All right, 6 shots from these gentlemen into the French. And then they rumble in the jungle down here as the British are on a skirmish tasking. They've lost a base, so they're up to 7 shots, though, with the skirmish tasking into the French in cover, dropping down to 6 die. Boom, 2 hits, removing a skirmish base and causing a discipline check. French skirmishers were able to make their discipline check like a boss. All right, it's the end of skirmish fire. Moving on to artillery, going back down to the far right. I guess technically this would be, this road is going like east-northeast. So this would be the eastern side of the battlefield. All right, we're on assault fire, blasting across the valley, trying to take out the opposing guns. 2 more casualties on 6th Brigade's guns, or sorry, 3rd Brigade's guns. They got 6-pounders. They are now officially worn. Oh, I can't remember what that. I think it has all kinds of fun effects as they start getting hammered away. They're losing the artillery duel, and everybody knows I'm a nurse, so I keep saying the healthcare version of that. Yeah, they're losing this artillery duel big time to the Frenchies. Grand Battery is basically in a hesitant brigade, so they can only fire at a close range. So they're just going to blast away at the skirmish line with both batteries. Oh, they were close to causing a falter on that skirmish line. There are 2 casualties. They take a discipline check, and this battery on the right takes a fatigue casualty, and they go up to 5. So they did some good damage to themselves. But the battery number 1 actually secured some solid hits into that skirmish line. They passed that. They're going to survive this turn, which is clutch. And they're going to, in the movement phase next turn, they're going to boogie. The French battery on the west side of the battlefield, counter battery, inferior volley against those guys. Continuing the nickel and diamond of these guys, they're up to 3 casualties now. Slowly wearing them out. Starting over on the east side of the coalition, this artillery battery is worn. So they immediately go down to the inferior fire table. They're firing at long range. So now they are super hosed, and they're firing a weak, which is just that 1 die thing. And they miss. Oh well, they're in trouble. Battery 1 and Battery 2, they're going to try to finish off the Frenchies here. They want to blow these guys off the table. Hopefully the French can hook and weave and dodge some of these shots. They just can't suppress these guys with the cover. The Brits were ready for them to come. So let's see what the British guns can do. They inflict the 5th casualty on the left battery, and they also inflict a casualty on themselves. So now both British guns are up to 1, slowly taking themselves out. That's the French plan. Just let them shoot at them so much they get tired and cause fatigue casualties. Battery on the far west for the British, gonna fire an inferior blast across, try to suppress this French guns. There you go, baby. French suffer a casualty. Great shooting by the British. Get working their way back to you, baby. All right, so we're done with the turn. Just some cleaning up, and definitely feeling it's a crazy battle now. We got the Russians here. It's always a good time when you invite the Russians to your party, and coalition forces looking kind of thick on the east side with the reverse ridgeline guys and these gentlemen here. See what Wellington decides to do. I might get a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I do like the ridge because you get that. There is an advantage in melee if they're attacking uphill. The quick flyby of the entire battlefield. Let's see if I can get this to zoom out a little bit. There we go. French are definitely closing in, but they got a long way to go. It's a more tame battle. Last one they started like almost on top of each other, so this is a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to use the word realistic. I almost did there, but it's just a little bit more time for skirmishers, a little bit more time for artillery, getting the game within the game. Well, actually just getting the most out of the game, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, I'm gonna go do some editing on this, and we will be ready for turn 4 when I get done with that. French are looking beautiful as usual. Just looks a little bit different because they're not in attack column. They're in heavy column, baby. Look at those guys. I love it. And same for these guys here. French are winning. You know, it's kind of neat. They're one side's winning the skirmish battle somewhere, one's winning the other one, and then the artillery's a bit of a mix. The Grand Battery is definitely going for the way for the coalition as their British guns are hammering down on the exposed French. British guys are loving their cover. They took the time to build. Yay! Thanks for the Royal Engineers. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Alright, it's time for Napoleon's Core Order dice for turn 4, baby. Napoleon comes out hot. He's going to lose the blue die for this turn just because of he's riding the line last turn. See how the Duke of Boots does now. He's got the Russians breathing down his neck. He does have the Corps Adjutant, so he'll re-roll that 1-1. Just wasn't meant to be as he ends up with the red dice and the blue die. Alright, French ADC availability. Ah! Ney ends up with 4 ADCs for this turn. Big Daddy Salt gets, oh, he has 5, not 4. Forgot about that double 6 he pulled out. Coalition ADCs. Picton has got another brigade to play with now. Picton ends up with 6 ADCs, and the Earl of Uxbridge gets 5. So, Coalition on a rebound here. Alright. Things are looking up. Let's see if they can... should have a good turn here. There's also a bunch of reinforcements coming this turn. Nobody... I'm not even at that point yet. Okay, I was getting excited there. I was getting ready to think about charges. So I'm like, wait a minute. I got to assign some ADCs and stuff. Alright. Soult is going to push, Ney's going to push hard on the right with Peugeot. He knows the 9th Léger is arriving this turn behind them, so it's time to get fired up. They're going to try to do a forwards tasking and with a reroll. And then that basically is 3 of his available ADCs. And he's going to spend 1 more here for a reroll for Mazarny, just to try to keep him going. Soult is like going in crazy style. His main battery, or actually the Corps' main battery, both batteries are going to go on assault fire. He's going to put a reroll on the Domon because he's untrustworthy for 5 ADCs. And he's also spending a caisson so they can both go ballistic before they get wailed on and go up to 6 casualties and not be able to do this. Oh, they can't even do it at 4, can they? Oh, standby. Alright, after reading the rules, there's no limit to how many caissons you can spend in a turn. So he's going to use both of his caissons to permit these both batteries that have 5 casualties to fire assault fire. And yeah, so we're back. Keeping with the original plan, except Soult has 0 what's it called now? Caissons left. Napoleon's got 2 with him, and Ney's got 2 as well. Alright, ADC tasking's done. Let's see which French brigades are active. Alright, everything's proceeding as planned. Every unit is following orders, so that's awesome for Napoleon. Napoleon is going to spend his Black Corps Order die to give Grenier over here on the left a forwards tasking. So they are also going to move forward 2d6. Going from left to right with the coalition, General Halkett's getting a reroll. General Stewart's getting the skirmish tasking and a reroll. Moving down the line, General Adam is getting a skirmish tasking and a reroll. General Mitchell up front is just getting a reroll. Nothing for the artillery, sorry, with General Hawker is getting a reroll. General von Steinmetz is getting a skirmishers and a reroll. And I believe General Johnstone is getting skirmishers and a reroll. Wellington's still sitting on his ride the line or an additional ADC for one of his divisional commanders. All right, let's do a roll to see which brigades of all 8 of these brigades now for the coalition are active. All right, Wellington had nothing really to do with his last his core order dice, so he put 1 ADC into the scouts. He'll be able to re-roll one of his 2d6s on initiative. And all the coalition brigades are active. All right, everyone's turned on. Plus we're getting reinforcements. There are no charges, so we'll go on to wow, I gotta do initiative first. Duh. Sorry about that, people. All right, the French are on 11, British were on 8. They're gonna re-roll their 3. Let's see what happens. That was my first time using the Scouts ADC tasking. French sees initiative again. All right, and now I can say there are no charging. So we'll go on to French tactical movement before we do French reserve movement. Going right to left. Let's start over here with Peugeot. He gets a forwards tasking, an extra 2d6. 3rd Brigade moves forward 12 inches. The French skirmish line was unformed, so they kind of held in place and reformed. They're now at the back of the formation. The British skirmishers are obliged to fall back because the 3-inch rule is a bonus move. They weren't charged. They just fall back, and that's there we go. I think Peugeot would have preferred to kept his skirmish line deployed, but since they were unformed, they had to use their movement to kind of get their act together again, which was a good move by the Brits, wiping them out. The Army du Nord continues their advance across the entire battlefield. I just got to do the forwards tasking for General Grenier, and you can see over here on the far left, Clouseau has stepped into the creek down here with his brigade. All the way across the French line, so you can see Mazarin move forward 14 inches. Von Steinmetz's skirmishers have to do that bonus move to stay out of the 3 inches. They're closing in. The heavy columns are advancing. All right. That's the end of French tactical movement. Go on to the Allied tactical movement. The last thing I want to do with the British is to get forced off the board again with a retreat move or something. So they are moving forward across the line. King's German Legion stepped down off the hill, and the Russians have advanced forwards. These guys have moved forward slightly down here to allow this reserve battalion to step up onto the heights. So, and then even only person didn't move forward was von Steinmetz. He's kind of holding position where he is right there, and that should be good. They're about, it's a nice little line right across the battlefield. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, that's it. So French tactical movement. We got reserves coming on. I think we got the Italians and the 9th Léger showing up. Oh, now we're getting real. On the right flank for Ney, the 9th Léger, the incomparable, march onto the battlefield under the command of General Husson. He's a bold brigadier, first one on the board, and they are veteran. They are kind of cocky. They're looking pretty, very plucky. Starting to that's kind of cool when they're not all on the table at once. You're like, well, it's not the biggest game, and then reserve units start coming on, and it just starts picking up that next level stupidity, which is awesome. And then over here to the right, under General Jamin. In heavy column, here come the 4th Italian Line Battalion, or line brigades. So, oh gosh, hang on, let me repronounce that one. Here comes the 4th Italian Infantry Regiment of Line. There we go. Good way to go. Good recovery, Steve. And yeah, that's getting decent over there. Okay, that's the end of the Army du Nord's tactical movement. And now I think we get some British stuff, or coalition forces start coming on the reserve movement phase. All right, showing the fact this is a rear guard action. Here comes 4 British Guard battalions. 2 battalions of the 1st, 2nd Coldstream Guard, and the 3rd Scots Guards. They are in line formation with their bold brigadier, General Carmichael. And at some point I got to choose whether they're going to continue to march off the battlefield all the way down this road and get 4 victory points, or turn and face and engage like the beasts they are. Okay. And that's the end of the movement phase. We'll go over just show you the British stuff here. Really, it's nothing new from what you saw before, except for those 4 battalions back there. And looking great, baby. All right, let's go on to skirmish tasking, skirmish firing. All right, since Peugeot's 3rd Brigade skirmishers have to fall back behind his formation to reform. First up for the French skirmishers, from going from east to west here, is the 105th under Mazarin's skirmishers. He's got 3 bases up front, so 4 shots, point blank range to the 95th. Let's see how they do. They're able to inflict 1 casualty, which was enough to remove a skirmish base. So, boom, there you go. 4th Brigade of the English, or the British, excuse me, had recalled their skirmish base because they were basically 1 bullet away from causing a falter to the brigade. So they're permanently removed. So General Bruce's 5th Brigade skirmishers are just going to fire right into their 1st Royal Scots with 4 shots. The 1st Royal Scots suffer 1 casualty, and that's our first line casualty of the battle. All right, there you go. Farther on down the line, Grenier's skirmishers are going to fire 5 shots into what's his name? Von Steinmetz' skirmish screen. I think they totally missed their first round, so this will be redemption time. Let's see if they can do something. They are able to inflict the first casualty onto those skirmishers, so there you go. Actually got one on the scoreboard. I think Clouseau has 3 remaining skirmish bases. They fire from the tree line against their the 95th, trying to do some damage before they get the Brits are on skirmish fire, or skirmish tasking, so they're going to be blasting back with a lot more firepower. They're able to pop those gentlemen for 1 casualty. Won't really have an effect on them, their return fire. All right, down at this end, Stuart's skirmishers. There's no voltigeurs screening these gentlemen, so they're going to, on the skirmish tasking, they're going to unload, I think with 7 dice, right? 7 dice into 1st Battalion, trying to wear them out a little bit before they were able to attack. First Battalion of the 69th Infantry Regiment suffers 2 casualties from that skirmish fire. 3 bases of KGL skirmishers on the skirmish tasking, blasting away at the French, the 3 remaining skirmish bases. That'll be 7 shots. That removes the French skirmish base. I could start thinking about withdrawing that the skirmish line next round, or next turn, excuse me. But they're definitely in charge range now, so that's all good. Von Steinmetz, the skirmishers, firing 8 shots into the French skirmish line. Holy cow, they inflict 3 casualties and a discipline check on the French, blowing away a skirmish base. Voltigeurs keep it together and pass that discipline check. And the final skirmish firing of this turn is 3 British Rifles bases on a skirmish tasking, so that gets you 7 shots. Dropping down to 6 because the French are in cover. They inflict 2 casualties on Clouseau's Voltigeurs. Definitely a good skirmish round for the Brits as their skirmish fire paying dividends, blowing away several bases of Frenchmen. Whoa, good stuff. All right, on to artillery, starting over there. This battery's going to keep up the pressure on the British gun on the far side of the valley, trying to finish them off. This is not artillery. This is not assault fire. It's regular old, regular inferior volley or inferior battery. All right, no effect. The British get lucky on that one. All right, boom goes the dynamite. These guys are gonna unload on assault fire both batteries into this battalion, and they will get bounced through. The 29th immediately gets hammered for 6 casualties. They go, they are now worn. That's rough. There's also 2 chances for bounce through into the, I think it's the 30th behind them. I might be wrong, I'm guessing. But we'll do those 2 real quick. See if those cannonballs go right through these guys, hit the next guys. 29th also has a discipline check at the after we do the bounce through. That's the 44th behind them from East Essex, I believe. They also took a casualty on the bounce through, and now we'll do the discipline check for the 29th. They are a line battalion. They're immediately demoted down to reservists now that they're worn. So they're going to need an 8+ to get through this unscathed. They go unformed after that hammering they took. Oh, very realistic. Poor guys. Oh, do some break out the first aid kit. Try to get these guys back in the fight. 1st Brigade's 8-pounder is going to fire across the valley counter battery on the British guns. That British 6-pounder battery is now up to 4 casualties as they get hammered by that. They're just kind of picking up a casualty every time. They're getting worn out here. All right, let's go down to the other end of the battlefield for British artillery part of the turn. These guns are going to do their best. They're going to fire their weak volley across at the French guns. Try to keep up, just try to get lucky and get a 4, 5, or 6. All right, that works. They're up to 2 casualties now. Got to keep on getting lucky. These guys do not have assault fire, but both guns are going to shoot straight ahead at the French main battery and just try to put them out of commission. They're winning this game here, hiding behind their redoubt. So if they can suppress these guys all the way, that's a good thing. Both batteries are now worn with 6 casualties each, so that's going to be a definite downer for that party as the French just are losing this artillery duel. Final British guns will fire across the valley counter battery style inferior barrage at the French guns. Batteries up to 2 casualties now as the British find the range. All right, so we're done with the artillery section or artillery part of the shooting. Next up, it's basically line fire. I think the French would only have 1. It would be this far right, but they had a forwards tasking, so I believe they're not allowed to shoot. Let me double check that, and we'll come on back. It took me a moment to find. I knew I'd read it somewhere, but it was on page 54 of the GDA rules, where the forwards tasking it's a bonus to movement, but at the expense of firing, so they cannot return fire at the skirmishers. Now the next question is, did those guys actually do forwards? I can't remember. I know these guys did the forward tasking, and then these guys down here did the forwards tasking. They might not have. Oh, because they haven't really come that far. Okay, I would say they did do the forwards tasking. Now that I think about it, if I got it wrong, I apologize. I did the movement this morning before I went to work, and now I'm just kind of popped home for lunch real quick to get a fix on. All right, these guys are gonna, both of these front columns are gonna volley fire at the skirmishers. So we'll get 2 inferior volleys because they're firing at skirmishers, but we'll get an extra CD for each because they're veteran line troops, not veteran, but they're basically trained troops in line firing. They do 4 casualties on that skirmish base. They blow away a skirmish base with 1 additional casualty, and they have to do a discipline check, which forces those guys to go unformed. And the only volley fire from the coalition forces is the 1st Royal Scots shooting back at a skirmish line. They inflict 2 casualties on the French skirmishers, and that'll be the end of the turn. All right, turn 4 wraps up. It's looking good. Getting more and more brigades onto the table as the battle's heating up. And that'll do it. All right, we'll see you in turn 5. Time for turn 5. Corps orders, Napoleon Bonaparte style. Here we go, baby. No riding the line, but there we go. Wellington has struggled with this. Let's see how he does on turn 5. Corps orders. Not too bad, my friend. Let's see how many ADCs are available for Sultan Ney. Soult ends up with 6 big bad orders. Strong work, my friend. Ney's still fired up, even with 4 orders. He's loving his life. Let's see how the Picton and Uxbridge show goes. Oh, yeah, baby. Picton ends up with 4. Uxbridge experiences a command and control nightmare with only 2. I'm feeling a little chief of staff coming on here, but we're going to think about it for a moment. Uno momentito, por favor. Got to think about this nightmare. Napoleon's going to give his white die to... He's actually going to play it to give both of his caissons to Marshal Soult. Lord Wellington's going to do the same thing and give 2 caissons to the to Major General Picton. Marshal Ney is going to use one of his divisional C&C orders, drop down to 1, and play Chief of Staff. Go ahead and re-roll the ADC he missed and gain 2 more. Oh yeah, baby, Ney's up to 7 ADCs. Look out, man. Soult is going to play all 6 of his ADCs, of course. 5 of which, plus 2 caissons, are going to go on the core artillery batteries. 1 caisson will allow the worn batteries to shoot, and the 2nd caisson will allow both batteries to go on assault fire. And that takes up, and he has a reroll, so that's 5 ADCs for that. He'll play a 6 ADC as the scout, so he'll get an extra roll on initiative for Napoleon. Ney is going in heavy on Peugeot's 3rd. He's got infantry assault. He's got forwards taskings. He's got a reroll. He has a assault fire on his battery over here to the right. And then he'll play his last ADC on a reroll on Mazarini's 6th Brigade. The Earl of Uxbridge is going to put a skirmish tasking and a reroll on von Steinmetz, and then a skirmish tasking over here on Johnstone's 5th Brigade. So that's all 3 of his. Picton is going to spend all 4 of his ADCs plus a caisson on Hawker's 11th Brigade. Go assault fire on both guns. No reroll though. Didn't have enough points for that. So that's what they're going for. Alright, let's see who's active on the Army du Nord. All the brigades are marked. I'm going to run out of dice pretty soon. I think we're up to 8 brigades on table now, or 9. I can't remember. Alright, little mistake there. Got my first bold brigadier on the table. So Husan should have rolled 2 dice. So yeah, he'll just get a reroll automatically. He did not pass his first roll. Also, I think Peugeot didn't, but he gets a reroll. But then we have Rue is actually hesitant. All right, let's see which coalition brigades are active. I did remember to put in 2 yellow die for Carmichael, being a bold brigadier in charge of the guard. Stedman with the mixed Russian-British brigade is hesitant. And then the other 2 were Hawker and von Steinmetz, who both have rerolls. We'll do those real quick. Oh, I almost forgot. Hawker didn't have a reroll, so the British guns go hesitant as well. The coalition ends up with 2 hesitant brigades in Major General Picton's division and 1 over in the Earl of Uxbridge. I'm not sure what's going on over there in the terrain where those 2 gentlemen are, but those guys facing off each other both had a panic attack. They're both faltering. Not us, they're both hesitant. Sorry, faltering's a whole different kettle of fish. For initiative, the coalition will roll 3d6, take the lowest 2. The French will roll 2d6, and they can also re-roll 1 with that scouts ADC tasking they have. No reason for the French to re-roll. As we go into the charge phase, oh yeah, we got some things going on. Peugeot with his forwards tasking is going to try to charge up this hill into the British at the top. Alright, the British skirmishers were unformed, so pretty sure they just fall back behind the unit. Normally they would fire, but being unformed, they have to like kind of reform to shoot, or not sure how that works. I'll read on it more, but for the time being, let's get this charge done. French going in, got 3 supports. British are going to have 2, and you can't do multiple attacks for brigades, so they kind of have to go into this weird formation to go ahead, and they are attacking uphill, but I don't think that matters till the melee if it goes to that, so we'll see what happens. British are drilled troops in line. They'll fire a standard volley straight ahead into the French as they come in. 2d6 plus 1. Wow. Horrible. The 32nd needs to go to the range as they lose fire discipline on that horrible shooting. They missed with everything. I don't know where the heck they were aiming. Terrible. Alright, both sides will get 2d6. The British will get 2 rerolls. The French will get 3. British are keeping their hot hand going with a big old 4. French are at a 9 right now. British can use their first reroll, probably their second right afterwards. Alright, 7 to 9 right now. British are going to try to reroll their other 2. Oh baby, don't call it a comeback. They're up by 1 right now. French have 3 rerolls. Going to go at that 4 and see how badly they can screw this up. Alright, now the French are getting their butt kicked. 7 to 10. 10 to 10. We're going to hold it right there. That's a great comeback by the British. So they'll just go into combat later on. We'll mark them up. No elan, no nothing. Everyone will be kung fu fighting. Alright, my first charge of this battle. I love it. All right, that was the only charge. We go on to the movement phase, so French will start with tactical movement. Our little pan across the battlefield. The 9th Léger moved up 6 inches. These gentlemen closed into like close range volley fire, which is going to be awesome. We've got a General Brew is kind of sitting here blocking everybody's way because he's hesitant. His skirmishers, they kind of wiggled around a little bit, but they were already in range. The the Italians moved up right behind his hesitant brigade, trying to urge them on. General Grenier continues his advance around the corner here as his skirmishers and the Prussian, Austrian, Hanoverian skirmishers engage at close range musketry. And over here, Clouseau is slodging through the creek. He can't move very fast. Really, all of his movement's cut in half, so he'll be out of the creek next turn, basically. So that's where he's at right now. Not a lot of movement for the coalition. Doug is starting to move his boys. Keeping his options open for marching for victory for those 4 points. Could mean a lot. Right now, there's no real big breakthroughs or anything, so why not? Doug's pretty brave, though. He might make a right turn at some point, just start chopping people up and stabbing. What else we got? These guys, a lot of the 3 hesitant brigades, kind of, and plus being static in defense, they already kind of moved a little bit last turn to make a hole for new forces coming in, reserves, plus they're also made room so they don't get forced off the table on retreat moves. You're hanging out on the edge of the board is not very tactically sound in a lot of these games. At least I don't have a 6-foot wide table. I do have a 7-foot wide table, so it gets that extra foot at least to hide on. Some of the skirmishers got pushed out of the way here just because the French heavy column closed in too close for skirmishing. And also, I think the French recalled one of their skirmish. They only down to 2 bases. They recalled them as well. Didn't want to take that falter. Okay, that's the end of the tactical movement. Reserve movement. I think we have some troops coming in this turn. All right, for reinforcements, the Vistula Legion and the Swiss have come in down here on the west side under General Campi. He's a bold brigadier commander. So that's the turn 5 tactical movement, reserve movement for the French. And reinforcing the other side of the battlefield is the Highland Brigade under Pack, who's also a bold brigadier commander. Instantly reinforcing that. Definitely going to give some pause to Ney's hopes and dreams. I don't think he's going to be taking that left side anytime soon. Okay, there we go. That's the end of the tactical movement. We'll get into skirmish, that's the end of the reserve movement and the movement phase. So we will get into skirmish shooting. For the first skirmish shooting of turn 5, got to come all the way over here to 5th Brigade's General Brew. He's got 3 bases, popping off 4 shots against the First Royal Scots. And they had 0 impact. Good job. Some skirmish on skirmish action. General Grenier against our boy von Steinmetz and his skirmishers up front here. All right, we're looking at another 4 shots. They put 2 casualties on those gentlemen. Well, they put 1. They're at 2 now. Sorry about that. Then out of the woods, the French voltigeurs of... who's the back commander? Sorry about that. Let me take a quick peek. I always forget. Oh, it's Clouseau, my boy. Jacques Clouseau. For those of you who remember those old movies back in the 70s. 4 shots from the woods against their counterparts. Big 0 impact from those gentlemen. No effect. All right, let's go to the other end and do the 7th Coalition's skirmish shooting back at the Armée du Nord. They got to even come even farther down to find some of their skirmishers. They have our boy down here firing back at oh, sorry, oh, not Salt. What the hell? Oh, Grenier's guys right here to the by the woods. They'll have how many bases they got? They have 4 bases, so, and they're riflemen, so we got 6 shots. Once time, it's the skirmishers do 2 casualties on the French, removing a skirmish base, knocking them down to 2. It's time to recall those bad boys. And Johnstone's skirmishers have the skirmish tasking, so they have 3 bases, 7 shots. The coalition's definitely with the riflemen, just blowing the French away. I think I would have had the 9th Léger maybe if they were in the front to kind of pump a bunch of guys in the skirmish base, skirmish line to give the French a chance at least. I think the only time they've really done well is when they've used artillery on skirmish lines or just rushed them off. That'll actually be 6 shots. I forgot they're in cover, so one less shot coming out of those guys. Holy crap, did you see that shooting? That was terrible. Okay, that's the end of skirmish fire. Time to move it on along to artillery. Alright, Peugeot continuing his battery is on assault fire. They will fire across. Of course, these guys they look like they're a juicy target, but they're actually in hand-to-hand fighting, so they're going to continue counter battery. They have a inferior volley, whatever, inferior barrage. That's probably the best term I could think. With 2 extra casualty die because they're on assault fire. Holy cow! They're up to 9 casualties. They're 1 away from disperse, and they also take a discipline check after that absolute thrashing they took. Those guys keep it together. Awesome save there, right? That's fantastic. Good job. Right, the French, basically, this is the last time they're going to get double assault fire. They're completely out of caissons. Ney has some, but he has no mechanism to get them over here, as far as I know. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think he can just use it on his own gun. So they're going to fire all out at that same British line unit again, try to break them down. These would normally be a standard barrage, but they are worn, so that drops down to the inferior barrage. But they still get all the casualty die. Holy cow, the 29th is hammered. 5 more casualties. They're up to 11 now. At 15, they're dispersed. No discipline check, though. They were both not enough to push it over the top. 2 chances for bounce through into the battalion behind. An absolutely savage barrage as they do 8 casualties, 5 to the front battalion and 3 on the, or sorry, 2 more. So it wasn't that many. It was 7. The 44th takes 2 more on bounce throws up to 3. So, wow. Nice shooting, Tex. Unfortunately, the British guns won't be able to reach out that far because they're in a hesitant brigade, so they can't shoot the long range. They're just going to have to shoot straight ahead into the Frenchmen. The last French battery will fire an inferior barrage across the valley once again. These guys continue their duel. 5th Brigade, 6-pounder up to 5 casualties now. Oh, 1 away from being worn. Alright, we got for return fire. 3rd Brigade's guns on the verge of complete and utter destruction over here with 9 casualties. They're going to fire a super weak counter battery, just trying to do something to the French guns. They're up to 3 casualties now with that shot. Nice job by the Brits. British main battery, they are in a hesitant brigade. They're just going to fire straight ahead into that French line battalion. I got to check the range and see if we're doing canister or what. It's getting kind of close. They are elevated so they can fire over the top of the gentleman in front of them. General Bru's troops are in effective range by like 2 inches to these cannons, these 9-pounders. They are being screened, but the artillery is going to fire shot, so they can just decide they're going to fire at the line unit. So we get 2 blasts of effective range with bounce through into the troops behind them. The front 2 ranks will get wailed on. 1st Battalion 27 takes 3 casualties and has to take a discipline check. The 2nd Battalion of the 27th has to take just takes 1 casualty and bounce through. So let's do the discipline check. Looking for a 7 to keep these guys together. Just a little bit too much for them as they get hammered with multiple cannonballs. They are unformed, a little bit confused, wondering why they're being ordered to attack a redoubt full of cannons, but oh well. That's what you signed up for. There ain't no GI Bill in the Army du Nord. Boom, sucker. Good thing that wasn't on assault fire. That would have shredded them. The final British battery on the west side will fire a inferior barrage across at their counterparts as they continue their duel. Must have got their range must have been knocked off when those cannonballs came in. They kind of overshoot the target and miss, doing no effect. We get down into some real man stuff as the 1st Battalion 105th and the one of the battalions of the King's German Legion square off in point blank range musketry. Oh, this is what we missed last game. Let's see how it goes. French will fire first, but the KGL is going to let them have it afterwards. KGL suffers 3 casualties from that blast, and they go ahead and unleash their muskets right into the face of the Frenchman. Got the KGL2 pumped up there, and they couldn't look. They just panicked under the pressure I put on them. Too much height, baby. 1 casualty to the French. They're kind of like shocked. All right, everyone's reloading. Slam back those musket balls, baby. And over here, the 1st Royal Scots will unload into the skirmish screen of General Bru. Skirmishers take 2 hits, removing a base and putting 1 additional casualty on the next base. These guys will be getting recalled back into the brigade right after this. I think that is the end of volley fire. Yes, it is. All right, so then we go on to our very first hand-to-hand way over here on the right side, or the east side. And let's see how it goes. French are tacking up a slope, so they'll be with 4 dice, and the British will have 5 dice hitting back. Let's see how it goes. "32nd totally chokes. They only get 1 hit on the French. They're up to 3 casualties. They maintain their fire discipline. They retreat. They unform the, I believe it's the 40th. And then the French take the ground with their 1 casualty, and everybody's kind of slides around a little bit. So the French win the first one. They're up on the hill now with the British, who have plenty of backup. They're like, yeah, we'll take them if you can't get them. So there we go. First hand-to-hand went well, and that brings to an end turn 5. So we'll head on to turn 6, where I think we'll get the last of the reinforcements will come in. And yeah, should be cool. All right, so that'll be 9 more turns to go. We're almost at the halfway point. We need to get to like turn 7.5. All right, turn 6, starting off with Napoleon's corps order rolling. Let's see what we can do. Napoleon has all of his weapons at his disposal. Let's see if the Wellington can match that. He misses 1, but he does have the corps adjutant, so thankfully it was a 1. So he's going to re-roll that bad boy. Wellington is also fully loaded. Fully armed and operational battle station. All right, so we'll go on to ADC availability for the French. And by French, I mean French, Italians, Swiss, and Polish, baby! Now he kind of chokes, sorry, and only gets 3 ADCs. He's already used his chief of staff, so, ooh. Let's see what happens. Napoleon's eyeing him for his red dice. Soult performs his normal self and gets 5. He is crusty, man. He knows what's up. Let's see how Coalition Command does with their ADC availability. But I need a good one here. Not the best. Picton only gets 3 out of the 6 he could have had, or if he rolled a bunch of double 6s, he could have had a whole bunch of stuff. Uxbridge is able to get 4 of the 5 of his ADCs available. I had to get rid of that hesitant from last turn. I got a couple of them to get rid of. Ney's going to go with the hand he was dealt. He's going to give General Husson a forwards tasking. That's only 1 order, so his Bold Brigadier reroll will still be in effect. And then he will give a reroll to Peugeot. And that's it. So these gentlemen out here on the wing, is this Mazarny? I always forget. Yeah, Mazarny's brigade is kind of, so hopefully they are active, but they're probably just going to fire. They got a little bit of advantage on the KGL, so they might just continue to blast away and say we're came out on the top of that first exchange. Now this game is getting a bit ridiculous size. Just do division by division to see who's following orders. All 3 of Ney's brigades are active. He'll pick up another 2 brigades at the end of this turn as he gets reinforced. Soult's going to dump everything of his 5 ADCs out here on the left. He's going to give a forwards tasking and a reroll to Clouseau, and Campy will just get a forwards reroll, but he is a Bold Brigadier, so he'll get a reroll anyway. Napoleon gave his extra ADC, the red die from his core orders, to Soult before the rolling. So General Brew gets a reroll to try to stay in this. Can't have another hesitant and stop the entire center. The Italians are getting anxious back here to start doing a oblique move to the right to attack the center. Oh, back to his old tricks. Domon goes hesitant. He's the only brigade. Campy's Bold Brigadier pays off with his 2 dice, taking the one he likes better. Picton's feeling the pressure. He's going to use a divisional C&C order. Do Chief of Staff is 1 for the game. Immediately goes up to 5 ADCs and gets to re-roll the 3 he missed. Alright, time for a quick ponder. He's up to 7. Alright, he's going to go for Crazy's train and go 5 ADCs with 2 assault gunnery with his main batteries in his core artillery brigade. They're going to give them a reroll to prevent the fail from last time. He's spending the first of the 2 caissons that Wellington gave him he didn't get to use last turn. And they're going to try to put the French guns out of commission and end them before they can continue to hammer away on the 7th Coalition center. Didn't have enough for a reroll, but going to try to move Halkett into position to this hole here to try to protect the right, and that will allow General Pack to move up his Highlanders to support the embattled. Who's up front here? Is it? Oh, General Stewart. He's always in trouble. All right, see what Stewart can do. And while I'm over here, gonna give the 5th ADC to use the red die from the core orders to the Earl of Uxbridge. All right, let's see what the Major General Picton can do. Sorry. All right, they're all active. The only one that didn't make it was General Pack's second die, so his Bold Brigadier pays off. All right, let's go down here to the Earl of Uxbridge. All right, the Earl of Uxbridge is going to do a skirmish tasking on von Steinmetz, A skirmish tasking and a re-roll over here on General Johnstone on the far right of the coalition. And it's gonna start grooving it here. Gonna do a forwards tasking for General Carmichael. Start boogieing the guard out of here. Try to pick up those 4 victory points in a heartbeat before the lines get crushed. All right, General Johnstone fails that first attempt, but he does have the reroll. Let's see if he can beat it. All right, the Earl of Uxbridge, actually the entire 7th Coalition is active. No hesitant brigades. The only thing that's hesitant on the board is you can set your watch to it, General Dumont, struggling. Probably going to get rocked with cannonballs here if you can't get the initiative one for the French. Just a straight up initiative, no effects. 2d6 for both sides. Oh, it's a draw, but too bad the French won it last turn, so they will maintain the initiative. That'll give a chance for Dumont to get one shot off before hell gets rained down on him. A charge phase, the French, no charges. Coalition, no charges either. Go right into tactical movement for the Army du Nord. All right, let's see what the forwards bonus is for the 9th Léger. 5th Brigade recalls their skirmishers. 2nd Battalion passes through 1st Battalion, who was unformed, and spends the turn reforming, and now they're 2nd in line in the heavy column. And yeah, there's also the retreat. I think they could retreat all the way back. Let me read that rule. I might do that since they're the most damaged. 1st Battalion uses the withdraw to 2nd line as they use that withdrawal move, and now they're in the rear of the formation. I'm not 100% sure if they stay unformed. I assume they would, but I don't know. It doesn't say it in the rules. But they're at the very end now. They have 3 casualties from that volley. Actually, not volley, artillery blast. 2nd Brigade, or 2nd Battalion, they're the ones who got the bounce through there now with 1 casualty there up front. They are in musket range, and they have recalled their skirmishers into the formation. Got some crazy movement going on up here as the French are kind of wheeling around the British, not engaging anybody in hand-to-hand. 9th Léger hauled booty. They're trying to squeeze through. I take advantage of that gap, but I think it's pretty much going to be immediately filled by a line of British troops, unless I roll like double ones on the forward tasking. All right, General Clouseau is paid the penalty for passing through the river. He's going to pass through the trees now, but he has a forwards tasking. See how far he goes. General Clouseau closes in on the British lines. Still enough room for skirmishers to operate, so there'll be another volley between them before the big boys get serious. And I think the last move for the French will be another forwards tasking by the Polish and Swiss. Sorry, my pronunciation is going to be off. I'm post-op, baby. And see how they do. General Campy's Foreign Legion moves forward. They're going to angle off to the right a little bit here. Try to back up General Grenier. I always forget. I have to take a peek. I was like, oh, who is that? And it's Clouseau to the left, Grenier towards more of this side of the river or stream. And here comes Campy. General Jamin begins to wheel his Italians. Probably the artillery of Dumont's going to get wiped out this turn, I'm guessing. So once they're toast, he will move out there in the center. So went about obstructing their view if they're already toast. And that'll be the end of the French tactical movement. As you see the wheel a little bit better from a high altitude. The Reaper drone resisting the urge to charge as much. Going to go with some musketry.
try it out, something a little bit different. So I'm excited to always try something different besides just going crazy and doing hand-to-hand. These guys just sat there and just, oh, that's kind of, you can imagine the cojones just to, you're about 50 foot away from somebody and just trying to reload like hell so you can blast away. Be screaming for the officer to give the fire command or the fire at will command. Then up here on the ridge, these guys are probably about 6 feet away from each other, just hammering away. So you get the advantage. And is that it? Oh yeah, they sorry, I forgot the 9th Leger hauled booty into that hole there. Nice. Okay. 7th Coalition, tactical movement time. They're retreated last turn, so they'll switch to unformed now, I believe, and they won't shoot, so they'll get their fire discipline back. So the 30 seconds unformed, but they should be able to shoot. Oh, they can't shoot this turn because I'm gonna leave the fire discipline on because I will probably forget. They do come out of the retreating status in the movement phase though, so yeah, there's no way I'd remember that one. General Halkett with the freshly painted boys got a forwards order, gonna move forward, try to cover that hole right there. That artillery is gonna wilt probably this turn. They're one away. If someone blows on them, they're gonna be blown to pieces. All right, Halkett is advanced up into that spot there. The Highland Brigade has stepped forward 6 inches, put their skirmishers into that gap. They will be supporting the coalition's left here as these guys are kind of getting wrapped around. They're in trouble. They need the 32nd to get their act together. They got blown out of the water. Yeah, looking kind of crazy up in here. The Russians step forward 6 inches, kind of clearing the road. Waiting to see how far the forwards order is going to take General Carmichael. That'll be the last thing to move for the coalition. Let's see what he gets. 2d6 added to whatever he gets. That looks pretty cool. It's the guard. Stream 17 inches, I think. Maybe longer. Maybe 19 inches, I think it was. Down the road. These guys are fighting to get them free. They're like, come on, baby. A little concerned about the road way down there. It's starting to cave in as Ney gets all crazy style. But, there it is. Oh, yeah. Gotta love Napoleonics. Ooh, these guys are like right in my face. Okay. That is the end of tactical movement. We'll start, reserve movement now. Oh, I got these British guys right here too. Let me zoom out. Sorry about that. I forgot how close these guys were. Like they're right in my face. I was like, what? Okay. Sorry, I'm drooling a little bit. I'm also on pain pills for my face. Alright, see you in a minute. Alright, we're done with reserve movement, and now it's ridiculous time. British cavalry comes over here on the right under the Earl of Uxbridge, and it's just getting a bit, everyone's on the table now, every unit. Yeah, so 5 cavalry squadrons. In the rules, you're supposed to have 3 is the maximum, so I need to paint at least 1 more squadron so I can form a 2nd cavalry brigade. So that's on the to-do list. Oh boy, the to-do list. Gotta love it. And you saw this regimental movement here, or tactical movement earlier for the British. Well, the coalition, excuse me. Down low here. Sorry about my knees. And you can see the, oh yeah, the guard has arrived. All 5 battalions. And to their left, to the trees, I'll have to get a better look at them. The trees kind of block it, but you can start seeing the French cavalry has stormed onto the battlefield. Sweet. All right, I'm gonna stand up again. Get ready for my knees to Go crack. And another look at the 9th Léger as they move up. Guard moves onto the table, or onto the battlefield, excuse me. Other side of the trees, 5 squadrons of French cavalry moving into the center. Oh, getting ready to be the hammer. And you can see the rest of the French. Okay. Awesome. That's amazing. I love it. Okay, gentlemen. And that's the end of reserve movement. It's on to skirmish fire. I'll be right back. All right, starting off with skirmish fire. The skirmishers from the 9th Léger firing 5 shots into the King's German Legion. 5th Battalion of the KGL suffers just 1 casualty. Only other skirmish shooting for the French is over here on the far west side, as these 3 skirmish basers fire at their counterparts for 4 shots. They inflict a 2nd casualty on those British skirmishers. And those 3 skirmish bases are the only skirmishers that can engage in this 7th Coalition skirmish phase. And they do have the skirmish tasking. So they are for 7 shots against the French voltigeurs. Definitely a bit of a missed opportunity, but the 1 casualty they inflict does knock the French down to knocks off of 1 skirmish base. They're down to 2 now. All right, switching over to artillery. French guns are gonna try to finish off their counterparts. They've been working on all game. Here comes a inferior barrage from this gun on the right side of the French. That'll do it. 10 casualties on that gun. It causes it to disperse, causing a faltering brigade on General Adam. Oh, take that, buddy. First kill for this game besides skirmish bases. Well, Napoleon is hesitant, but he can't fire out to effective range, so he'll blast away with a weak volley. Or, sorry, is it inferior volley? No, weak. I can't remember. Hang on. Inferior volley from both guns, or both batteries, into these guys have been pounding. Starboard side batteries only able to inflict a casualty on themselves. We're our own worst enemies, baby. They're up to 6 and 7. They do those cannonballs fly all over the place, but nothing hits the British. And then the final French battery fires an inferior blast across the valley. For no effect, the French guns going cold on us. Oh man, not a good time. Both British batteries of their core artillery brigade unleash hell across on Damon's confused and bewildered brigade. Oh, let's see if they can finish them off. Alright, first off, the gun on the starboard side there. Oh, yes, I am. It was in the Navy. They do a fatigue casualty on themselves, and they go low on ammo because they were in assault fire. Still, they blast across and do 2 casualties. The other gun, or the other battery, just completely annihilates, Death Star like, the French starboard battery. They're gone, causing the unit to falter, and Damon's remaining batteries up to 8 casualties. So they are wore out, and the final British gun is still 1 away from being worn, thankfully. They fire a weak volley or inferior barrage across at their counterparts. That elevates that battery to 3 casualties as they get blasted by those guns across the valley. That'll end the artillery phase, and we go on to volley fire, which we actually have a bunch of, which is exciting. 1st Battalion 69th will fire into this already beleaguered British line unit. They are following command so they can fire at a 45-degree angle into the 32nd. They could probably use that break because they only suffer 1 casualty and it'll go up to 4 now. 3rd Battalion 69th unloads at point blank range into the 40th. Definitely a bit of a missed opportunity as they only do 2 casualties on the 40th. We'll scooch down the line to the next French unit, which is the 2nd Battalion 69th. Into, who is that? Oh, into the 69th too. There we go, from South Lincolnshire. 69th, for the British, suffers 3 casualties from that volley. 1st Battalion 105th fires again into the King's German Legion. They're actually going to get 2 KGL volleys back at them, so they better do good.
Prepare to fire! 5, 2, ready!
Well, they took doing good to the next level. That was the mother of all volleys. Wow. They do 9... Oh, they did 6 casualties, taking them up to 9. They force a discipline check and a destiny roll on the... oh, wow, that's insane. KGL is veteran, so they're looking... Sorry, I dropped a die. KGL's veteran, so they're looking for a 6 to not totally fall apart. If they're warned, is it another bonus? Hang on. Yeah, it knocks them down a level. They need a 7 now. Well, that makes perfect sense as those gentlemen go unformed from that absolutely crushing barrage. Let's see what the destiny roll does now. Oh, wow. Well, thankfully that brigade has already faltered from losing their losing their artillery section. So they would have faltered again. Can't double falter, as far as I know. That's in version 3 maybe. Wow. So, yeah, more officers are slain, and they would have been even more faltered. 2nd Battalion 27th unloads into the 1st Royal Scots. They're up to 3 casualties now, as they take an average volley from those gentlemen. Here's an old school grudge match as the French unload into a Prussian line battalion. Oh, these guys do not like each other. The only thing worse than this would be the Austrians and the French. 1st Battalion 70th. Let her loose, baby. I can't wait to paint more Prussians. Prussians suffer 2 casualties from that barrage, and that's the end of French volley fire for this turn, which is the big turn 6. Go down to the other side again, and now we get return fire from the 7th Coalition. Alright, that's why I left the fire discipline down here. The 32nd is not going to shoot this turn. They're going to recover their fire discipline to shoot again another day. General Stewart orders the 40th to let her loose, baby. They're going to unload back into the French. Third Battalion 69th suffers their 2nd casualty. Speaking of the 69, dude, going over to the 69th from South Lincoln. They're going to hammer away at the 2nd Battalion 69th. They inflict 2 casualties on those gentlemen. Alright, the 1st Battalion of this KGL is going to fire at that lead French unit that just shot that devastating volley into their sister battalion. They inflict 3 casualties, raising them to 4, and then now the unit that just got the world rocked out of them, they're going to be worn, and then some. But they're firing back. Well, they are unformed and they are worn. It's a double whammy. They're just going to get the softest of volleys. Totally has no effect. I didn't even bother putting cotton out because I thought the 29th was going to be gone. They're going to fire an inferior volley into that French unit there at 45 degrees. 2nd Battalion 27th goes up to 3 casualties, and now they take a blast from the 1st Royal Scots. This will be a nice standard volley.
Nice combo action by the British, taking them up to 6 casualties. They are worn now. All right, and then the final volley of this turn will be the Prussians getting their payback, baby. Getting it back for Jena. First Battalion 70th takes 3 casualties. Now I'll take a discipline check. Looking for a 7. A 6 doesn't get it done as they are unformed. Sorry about your luck, baby. All right, now it's getting cool. I'm sorry, this game is phenomenal. Yeah. It could be the drugs I'm on post-operatively, but no, it's not. This is just a phenomenal game, and I'm enjoying the heck out of doing a little bit something different instead of just charging forwards. Liking the volley fire, baby. I'm gonna get me a t-shirt. Turn 6 comes to a conclusion, and yeah, it's Operation Rolling Thunder across the entire front line. We've got 2 faltering brigades for next turn, and yeah, and some of the big boys are coming up to get involved. Okay, we'll see you in turn 7. We're almost at the halfway point. All right, let's do corps orders for Napoleon for turn 7. Let's see what my boy can do, and then we'll do Wellington right afterwards. For the corps adjutant, you can pick one you roll, and you can re-roll it. So I'm going to re-roll the blue die for Napoleon. So he ends up with the red, black, and blue. All right, let's see what Wellington can pull out of his boot. He will use his corps adjutant to re-roll his blue die. Oh, it's not meant to be. He won't be riding the line this time. All right, let's roll ADC availability for the French. Napoleon immediately gets involved and gives Soult his red die, and Soult now has 4 ADCs, and so does Ney. All right, they were tied up, even Steven on the divisional orders or divisional ADCs. All right, let's try Uxton, Uxbridge, and Picton. See who's available for these gentlemen. All right, Picton has 6 ADCs, and the Earl of Uxbridge, wherever he may be, over here to the right, there he is. He's got 4. All right, not too bad for the 7th Coalition. All right, Soult does a divisional morale roll and a re-roll on Damon's faltering brigade for 2 of his ADCs, and uses his first CNC command with post of honor with Grenier. So yeah, that should be fun. Soult does still have his chief of staff, which he's saving for. Well, it's only technically it's only halfway through the game, so he's saving it. This might be a bit premature for post of honor, but he hates the Prussians, baby. He's got to try to finish them off. Well, that looked a whole heck of a lot worse than it was. Thankfully, Grenier was blue. He automatically passed. The other one was over here for Campy. He's bold, so the second purple die got him through. Jamin goes hesitant with the Italians, which sucks. And these guys had a reroll. Damon, let's see if he can do better than a 1, which would be a sacre peu. They're following commands and they're hesitant this turn. So 2 hesitants for Soult will be the -1 on initiative, but he also gets to reroll a 1 because of the CNC command he utilized. Ney is going to use a forwards command and a reroll on Amiel's cavalry brigade, and that'll be 3 of his 4 points, and then he'll just do a reroll on Peugeot's 3rd brigade, just so the artillery doesn't go into some kind of hesitant freak position. There are 2 bold brigadiers involved in this for Ney, so he has Husson and Deslorey. They'll both have 2 die in here.
Everything's good for Soult except for Mazarny goes hesitant, but he was just going to sit there and fire anyway. Picton's going to give a forwards order again to Carmichael, trying to get those points. Because the whole point of the battle is to basically get his troops off the battlefield, and then he'll do an artillery assault over here on his battery. Try to rain down heck on the French guns before they continue to pound them. Debating really hard whether or not to send the cavalry in right away. I was like, oh, I was going to wait and see if this unit breaks on the right. Everything works for Uxbridge. All right, baby. Yes. All right. Picton's going to use his last caisson to reload the starboard battery. He's going to play artillery assault for 2 points on the port side guns. He's going to play 2 more ADCs down here for a skirmish tasking with a reroll, and then his last 2 go on up here on Adams' brigade for the reroll. Divisional morale and a reroll in case everything goes wrong with this faltering brigade. The 2 fails were Halkett and then Hawker, I believe, the artillery. Wellington still had his red die, so he gives it to Picton immediately so he can have a reroll. I'm not sure how legal that is. I guess it is. He's still giving them an ADC. Not sure if you can give it to him beforehand, but it's kind of nice having that just in case you need to have like a miracle reroll. Alright, everybody passes for Picton, and we just pick up the hesitant for Adam because he's no longer faltering. Oh, it's for divisional battles only, the reroll. So French will be rolling 3 dice, the British will be rolling 2. Wellington snatches back the initiative. Way to go, baby. Unfortunately, the 7th Coalition doesn't have any charges to declare. Oh, the French do. Wah, wah, wah. Alright, Post of Honor. Grenier goes in hard against the Prussians. Yes. Looking good. Actually, they will. The brigade behind them will leapfrog over the top of them and go in. They'll have 1 support. Emile will try to do with his forwards tasking, see if he can reach that battered brigade there. So they will reach then. They'll get a reaction. I think it's to form square. I'll have to recheck that roll real quick on a cavalry charge. And Soult leads to hand against the Prussians. Oh, it's Post of Honor, baby. Alright, Prussians get closing fire as the French come on in.
Prepare to fire. 5, 2.
The French suffer 3 casualties and have to take a discipline check. But they'll do that 2 above their level, so this will be like a super elite. Due to the Post of Honor, they're classed as elite, so they needed a 5 to pass. So they barely scraped by. Alright, let's do hand-to-hand. So in this hand-to-hand, the Prussians will roll 2d6, the French will roll 3d6. The Prussians have 1 reroll, the French have 2. We're looking at a 5 versus a 5 right now. The French will reroll their 1. French are up 10 to 5, so the Prussians will reroll their 2. 10 versus 9 right now on the charge. The French will hold, will not use their last reroll. They will melee with Elan, plus they'll gain 2 more die thanks to the Post of Honor. For this nightmare, both British battalions will try to form square as the cavalry comes rushing in. The 29th is worn, so they're going to need an 8. And who's the other one? The 44th will need a 7. The 29th pulls out the square with the double 6. Unfortunately, no destiny on discipline checks, just on like fire and charges. But they're in square to take that charge by the chasseurs out of the Garde des Impériales. See how that goes. They can only take like 1 more casualty, and they're they disperse, which is not the best. The British would have had one support, but I think the options are you can either support or try to form square, and they tried to form square and failed. So there's no supports for the British square as they're hit by elite cavalry, but they're in square at least. The cavalry does have one reroll. Two, one for being elite and two for being supported by the Carbineers. Oh, the square, I forgot, has that big bonus there. So unless they have two rerolls, unless they can roll a 6, which is going to be difficult. Cavalry's going to end up withdrawing, but they will do one casualty to the square, and they're one away from dispersing, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, with 2 rolls to try to beat a 4 to get and you have to get a 6, a 5, because you have to win by more than 5, which is only a French will withdraw and take 1 CD. I think they're unformed too. Yeah. Oh well, it doesn't say they're unformed, but I assume they'd be unformed. And yeah, and then the 1 CD for the square. Good job, gentlemen. All right, these 2 cavalry regiments or squadrons, excuse me, are withdraw and are unformed. Cavalry passes through cavalry without issue. These guys are used to doing that, I guess. I remember David Brown saying that in his tutorial on the Too Fat Lardy's channel. They just kind of mill around. They know what they're doing. They both take 1 CD versus or chance of taking damage on the way out. Also, the square will take 1 CD. So I'll roll 3 at once. I'll mark them. All right, the Carbineers suffer 1 CD or 1 casualty as they fall back. The one guy just takes off running for the woods. Had enough. Unfortunately for the square, they took 1 casualty too, and that was all they needed to disperse. And they'll cause a faltering on their brigade. Oh, sadness. This infantry had to slide back a little bit to make room for that square to form in their square attempts. They're actually blocking the artillery section that's on assault fire, which kind of sucks, but that'll negate that cannon fire from that gun. All right, charge phase is done. Going over to the coalition for tactical movement. 32nd on the far 7th coalition left moves up to take their position in line. They got beat out of a couple turns ago. Skirmishers for General Halkett move forward into that space, trying to block the 9th Léger from taking it. They're also on a skirmish tasking, so they'll be able to unload. We'll do the movement bonus for General Carmichael shooting across, and I think the rest of it will stay the same. The British cavalry is going to inch forward. I'll do that real quick. Move up a little bit just to stay out of the way of the artillery. Those Royal Horse Guards and the Life Guards are beneath the gun there. The other 3 squadrons are kind of right behind them. And now we just got to do the bonus move for General Carmichael. Looks like General Carmichael might not be thrilled with his orders to march off the battlefield. He wants to get engaged, so he just does a double 1 on his move bonus. He's sitting right in the center if they need him. He's like, maybe if I slow down here, they'll change my orders. So we'll see. He just would have to do a right face, and he'll be in line ready to fight. So could be convenient. He's got a good spot here as the British center is starting to buckle. I kind of thought about it a little bit, and I forgot there was an opportunity there as the Russians slide down to the right to fill the center on their tactical movement. They're kind of in a little diagonal mess here. And then also Halkett's brigade also kind of slid to the right a little bit and filled in. They didn't have to move their skirmishers, so the Russians were also able to get their skirmishers out front. So they have 5 skirmishers bases out front to shoot at the cavalry, and the Halkett's brigade has 5 skirmish bases out front to shoot at the 9th Léger. And then to fill in that hole, for Halkett moving to the right, the Highland Brigade moved up and now is supporting the lead battalion. So I feel a lot better after that. I was kind of like, I feel like I wasn't doing enough for the 7th Coalition. They have reinforced very nicely. And they're ready to go. I think Doug can feel a bit better about marching off the battlefield now. Before he's like, what is going on? But now they've got it figured out. Or let's do French tactical movement. It's getting a bit ridiculous. This should be all on top of each other after this. All right, in a pretty awesome fashion, the French have moved forward. General Desfleuret is moving up his boys. So is General Husson as he engages with his skirmishers against the British. I think it's just a British group, yeah. What's wrong with those Russians in there? The Russians are in the center now. Still got some shooting going on up here. French cavalry is kind of stopped there and split into two groups. These French have advanced. They did a little switch to move to the rear thing once again. And they cycled a new fresh battalion to the front. The Italians held firm in hesitancy. We've already saw this glory over here. Here comes General Campi with the Vistula Legion and the Swiss up behind them to support them. Kind of wary of the British cavalry. And then I think it was an absolutely textbook maneuver. General Clouseau used his screening skirmishers the entire way. They took enough casualties for him to, on the movement phase, to recall them back into their battalions. And now he's moved into musketry against the British. Well done, sir. Get a shot across the entire battlefield of this nightmare. Holy cow. That is looking very Napoleonic. I love it. All right. We'll get skirmish shooting coming up. There's no more reserve movement. Everybody's on the table. All right, 7th Coalition's up first. 5 skirmish bases on the skirmish tasking, firing at the 9th Leger skirmishers. They have 5 bases, so they go up to 6 shots. They're riflemen, they go up to 7 shots. They're on the skirmish tasking. 9 shots! That's insane. I think 10's the most you can do, I think. I don't even know. Absolute trash shooting. They must have loaded with cotton balls in there or something. They're only able to inflict 1 casualty on the skirmish base. Next up, the hybrid Russian-British, Russo-British? Russo-Eng? I don't know what it is. Something cool. They're going to fire at the cuirassiers with 7 shots, right? I don't even know if they can even shoot at cavalry at that range. Oh. I'm going to let it stand because they did 1 shot, but I'm pretty sure if you check the rules, they can't fire at cavalry in the open. Okay, that's just, if they would have done about 9 million points of damage, I would have considered, but 1's not a big deal. They get charged and are able to fire on their way back as they retreat. I will not allow them to because I feel like I owe them 1. I'll check on that rule if the cavalry do charge them, which they probably will next turn. That's the end of coalition skirmish firing. I think we just got the 9th Leger firing over here. These boys are all light battalions, so they will get 6 shots shooting back at the not so good shooting British riflemen. They get more hits, but sorry about your luck. Only 1 casualty. Too bad they weren't on the skirmish task and they would have done a discipline check on them. Alright, that's the end of that fun stuff. Go on to shooting. These guys lose their artillery assault because this unit got pushed back into them when they tried to form square. And I need to check the rules for the second gun. If you're reloading, can you still fire? Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they can shoot still. They just pay the case on. They pay the penalty for that, for the reload. So they reload, and they fire at this battery that's remaining here of the what's left of the Grand Battery formation. These guys are not having much luck. They've inflicted all 3 casualties on themselves. They're just trying like hell. Alright, so they have 3 casualties now. The other gun has 2. The French guns will not be shooting back at them because they're hesitant and they can't fire out past effective range. These guns will continue to shoot at each other across the field. They're going to get assault fire though. And they have over 4 casualties, so they have to pay a caisson to fire assault fire. They are able to inflict a 4th casualty on this gun, but they also inflict a 6th casualty on themselves and go low ammo. Oh, the British artillery having issues here on the road to Enghien. They'll be spending their last case on next turn to reload those guns. Artillery is able to fire across at the 57th. Who's on a hill as well. Yeah, these guys right here. They're over 3 inches and 6 inches away from other targets, so hill to hill. It is long range. Inferior volley or barrage. Does 1 casualty on them and get a chance for bounce through to the next unit. Good shooting by the French, doing 1 casualty to each of those units. What's left of the brigade corps artillery is they've got nothing left. They can't shoot that far. They're letting the guns cool down. These guys are worn. They're gonna fire a weak shot across 1 die at these gentlemen. They totally miss. Sorry about your luck. I have to double check that wasn't a low ammo thing, but nope. All right, 32nd, firing a volley with 4 casualties. They did move, so it'll be a good volley though against the French. 1st Battalion, 69th does suffer a casualty, but the British were able to put fire discipline on themselves in their mass confusion. Oh, sad. Let's move on down the line. 1st Battalion, 40th, opening up onto the 3rd Battalion of the 69th. They go up to 5 CD, or 5 casualties, sorry. Moving down the line to the South Lincolnshire, firing at the next battalion of the French.
Prepare to fire.
2nd Battalion, 69th, goes up to 3 casualties. Oh, and also the South Lincolnshire boys put themselves in fire discipline again, having some issues. We got double trouble from the King's German Legion firing once again into this French unit. Probably should have done one of those rotate to the rear ones, but that's all right. What is this? The 5th Battalion has 1 casualty, so it'll be a regular volley. Oh gosh, the 2nd Battalion has got 9 casualties and they're unformed. Oh, they should have reformed during the movement phase. They didn't move. That one in there. My fault. All right, everybody's formed up, but 9 casualties is definitely worn. 1st Battalion, 105th, suffers 3 casualties going up to 7. The 2nd Battalion of the King's German Legion suffers a fire discipline and does Zippo, and these guys shot all right. 1st Royal Scots fire into the French. They only have 3 casualties, so it should be a regular volley. French Line Battalion suffers 1 casualty. British are not doing the best on this shooting here. These guys will like go insane and roll double 6s all across the board. All right, the 27th will unload into the French at point blank range. 1st Battalion, 36, suffers 2 casualties, and now 2nd Regiment, the Queen's Own, will fire into the 36th, 2nd Battalion. They also suffer 2 casualties. All right, so that's the end of the British shooting. Go back down to the other end and let's see how the Army du Nord does. All right, with 3 casualties, the 1st Battalion, 69th, unloads into the fire discipline struggling British battalion. French are maintaining the upper hand on the 32nd as they have 6 casualties now. They're worn and they have a fire discipline. 3rd Battalion, 69th, firing into the 40th. French are 1 away from being worn, so just take advantage of this shot before they get rocked next turn. They put 3 casualties onto the British, taking them up to 5. Battle of the 69th as the 2nd Battalion, 69th, fires into the Sherwood Forest boys, who have 3 casualties already and a fire discipline. They pick up 2 more and go to 5 casualties. 1st Battalion, 105th, going to fire a weak volley because they are worn into the beat up King's German Legion unit.
Prepare to fire. 5-2.
They are one away from being dispersed. Oh, 11 casualties and a fire discipline. 3rd Battalion, 27th. A solid volley into the 1st Royal Scots. That was the best volley of the round so far. They take 3 casualties. They need a discipline check. That's also their 6th casualty, so they're worn. So now they're going to test as reservists, needing 8. They're not the oldest regiment in the army for nothing. Yes, they laugh at that. No problem. That's a melee. That'll happen in a minute. All right, we'll go over here to these gentlemen on the far west side. 1st Battalion, 36 versus the 27th. 27th suffers 4 casualties and a discipline check. Oh, need a 7+. Oh, the Irish don't care about that. They are too buff to even think about going unformed. Last round of shooting over here. Another French volley.
Return to fire. Mark 2.
Queen's Own suffers 1 casualty as they give more than they take. That's the key to these victories. All right, so all we have are the grudge match between the French and the Prussians who hate each other. The French have Elan, plus they have Glory, because they've got Soult is in there smacking them. I think they're gonna get at least 3 extra die, and I think that's it. I don't think supports matter on this, right? Yep, it's just 8 dice versus 5. French are on top thanks to Soult and the Elan. Brutal hand-to-hand. The French are up to 6 casualties. They win with a victory, or whatever. They take the ground. They're going to sit right there. The Prussians retreat. They unform the first unit behind them, which is the Hanoverians, to go unformed. Prussians have 8 casualties and have formed up back there. And wow. And that is the end of turn 7, as that hated grudge match is over. Both units are going to be worn, and Prussians are in trouble, but they are way back there. So we get a look across the battlefield at the end of turn 7. We're at the halfway point here. It's looking kind of awesome. Sweet. All right, turn 8 coming your way. All right, corps orders for Wellington, turn 8. He gets them all. He's a boss. All right, let's see if he can keep the momentum up. All right, it's Napoleon time. He's got to find someone else to hang out with now that Domon is falling apart. He's going to use his corps adjutant to re-roll that blue dice. All right, Napoleon's rocking it too. Okay, let's go on to ADC availability for the 7th Coalition. Picton gets 6 ADCs like the boss he is. The Earl of Uxbridge snatches up 4 himself. Let's see how the Armée du Nord does. Ney gets 4. And so does Soult. No one's used their spy icon, their spy core dice, yes, which could be a fun one to try to cut Picton off at the knees. Think about it. Napoleon's going to hold off. He thought about it. There's no reason for Wellington. 4 and 4 is kind of average. All right, Picton puts 3 of his 6 on the portside battery here in the Grand Battery. He has no more case on, so he can't do double artillery assault. Excuse me. I'm going to struggle with that till the day I quit hobbying, I think. He's got a faltering brigade, so he does that in a reroll. That gets him up to 5. And then we have a skirmish tasking here on Halkett with no reroll. He's got all of his brigades marked, and Pack, of course, is a bold brigadier, so he'll have 2 white dice rolling for him. 2 faltering brigades already in Halkett and Pack. Now he's got to do a re-roll on Hawker, and I believe, is it Mitchell? Yeah, Mitchell, trying to do the faltering check. Good save there as the artillery assault goes through, and that brigade is also does not totally fall apart, so they are hesitant. He ends up with 3 hesitant brigades. Oh, they were going to make him re-roll that because he had 6 ADCs. What a nightmare. First thing the Earl of Uxbridge does is use his last caisson to supply ammunition to that battery on the far right of the British lines. The Earl of Uxbridge is going to use his first CNC command for 2 ADCs and play Now's Your Time with Johnstone's brigade on the right here and try to push the French right. He's also going to use, or the French left, excuse me. He's also going to use a forwards command on Ponsonby's brigade to hopefully attack the Foreign Legion of the Polish and Swiss with the cavalry and drive the British right flank and then try to roll them up. That's his plan. Let's see if it happens. Actually screwed up, and Mitchell was part of Uxbridge's command, not Picton's, but oh well. Figure out a way to pay him back here for something. Wellington's going to play his red dice on Ponsonby to try to get him unhesitant. He's off. The extra one was Mitchell anyway. He already failed earlier, so he was good. There's another payback. And Johnstone's automatically passes with Now's Your Time. All right, Mazzarini's going to get the tap. He's going to get a infantry assault, a glory, and a re-roll. And then the 4th one of Ney's ADCs is going to go on Husson, who's a bold brigadier, for his skirmish tasking with his 5 skirmish bases. All right, here goes Ney. See how he does with his 5 brigades. Husson and Peugeot both go hesitant. Oh, sorry about your luck. All of Soult's brigades are marked. Let's see how they do. Napoleon is going to give his ADC to Jamin. He's sick of him being hesitant. And it wouldn't be a French turn if Domon wasn't hesitant like a boss. Alright, both sides are rolling 3d6 for initiative because they both have 2 hesitant brigades in 1 division. Oh, the French sees initiative. Let's see what they can do. All right, Grenier is going to charge with his 2 rear battalions into those gentlemen there. They have a forwards tasking. Let's see what their bonus is. 1st Battalion, 36, charges into the 27th, canceling Now's Your Time. That'll return his ADC, his CNC order to him, because that will not happen. Sorry about your luck, baby. They won't recover any casualties either. So, failed attempt there to kick some butt. Sorry, Earl of Uxbridge. Mazarin leads the charge into the King's German Legion damaged battalion with glory and infantry assault, as his more healthy units leapfrog over the wounded one. Also, the cavalry goes in against, led by the cuirassiers, against the Russian Guard Moscow Brigade, who are going to try to react and go to square. As I said before, I wouldn't let the skirmishers shoot because I think they weren't allowed to fire at a cavalry unit that close. All right, we'll start over here. I'll go from left to right as the British will fire, closing fire against the French as they come on in to disrupt their Now's Your Time. Everyone's going to lend a hand here. We're going to have 2 supports for each. 27th like a boss, getting 11 versus the 9 for the French. That's not terrible. French will take it. They will halt and volley and fire a volley into them. They just wanted to disrupt the now's your time. And they halt it like a boss with a discipline check and a destiny roll. 3 casualties on the 27th. The rest of these units declared to support, so none of them are going to be able to take part anymore of this turn. Oh, that worked out for the French. 27th is up to 7 casualties. They are now worn. They will save like reservists, needing an 8 on this discipline check. Which they passed like a boss. Nice. Now here comes the destiny roll. The French recover a casualty and go down to 2. I forgot to say the British cavalry did declare a charge on the Vistula Legion. I got to roll their forwards bonus. Forgot over here the skirmishers also take 1d6 casualty dice as they withdraw, so also these guys must withdraw as well. Front 3 units are going to try to form square to block anything from getting through. British cavalry thunders forward into 3 infantry squares. Always a great plan. Led by the Royal Horse Guards and the Life Guards. British guns in the rear go silent. They can't shoot through that mess. What a nightmare. Aww. We'll come back to the British charge here in a minute. Gotta do the French stuff first. Alright. Here comes one. Grenier going in against the reservist unformed Hanoverians. Hanoverians will get off a shot. Going to be an inferior volley by the Hanoverians because they are unformed. They do 1 casualty to the 3rd Battalion 70th. And here comes the charge. Hanoverians are unformed, so they're going to roll 3 dice, take the lower 2. The French have their higher grade. They're going to roll 2 dice. They're going to have 2 rerolls because they have 1 support. Hanoverians will have 1 support. Not the best start, that hand-to-hand. 5 versus the 4. French reroll on one of their 2s. 7 versus a 5. Hanoverians got to reroll it. French are going to go for the wipeout here. Reroll their 2. Ends up being an 8 versus 5. Win by 3. Alright, French going to win. Hanoverians are going to retreat. Take 4 CD. Support's going to take 1 CD. I think they're going to withdraw. Hanoverians have 2 casualties. They would retreat. That means von Steinmetz has 2 units simultaneously retreating. The Prussians haven't had a chance to move and break out of that and go into unformed. So that brigade falters. Also, the Austrian unit falls back behind the Hanoverians. They have 1 casualty. That leaves the militia on the front line as the French take the ground and advance into their faces. And von Steinmetz is in trouble. These 2 Russian units are going to try to form square before the cavalry hits them. The guard will be the red dice. The Azovs will be the green. That was actually the Tobolsk battalion who actually formed square. The guard, Moscow Grenadiers, fail to form square. They take this charge in line and unformed from the cuirassiers. Oh, brutality! It's 8 versus a 7. Russians are winning right now, but the Russians have 0 rerolls. The cuirassiers have 3. No, 2, sorry. They'll stop right there as they win by 3 against the Russians. Cuirassiers will combat with Elan versus the Moscow Grenadiers. Well beat up King's German Legion will fire a pretty beat down volley against the French 105th Regiment as they come in. They're actually unformed and worn. They just get one die. Oh, hang on. They fail to inflict any casualties. They are unformed. And they are worn. So, yeah. Germans are going to roll 4 dice and take the lowest 2. KGL does have 2 supports, so they're going to go for it. The French have 2 as well. They're not allowed to reroll any 1, so they're stuck with that 1. They're going to try to reroll their 3. Right now they're losing by 2. The French are going to reroll their 2. French are going to take the W. KGL is going to retreat. And I think they'll let their supports withdraw. Oh no. 2nd Battalion of the King's German Legion disperses. 7th Battalion and the Hanoverian Field Battalion both withdraw, take a casualty. Well, one of them, though, the KGL already had a casualty before. They unform the Hanoverians and the Azov battalions as they withdraw back there behind the road. So now, and then that, because of the KGL dispersing, General Adams falters as well. So von Steinmetz and General Adams have both faltered so far this turn. 105th also moves forward and occupies the ground. Oh, the coalition starting to buckle. The last charge is over here as the Horse Guards slam into a Vistula Legion square. British will have 2 supports. The Polish will have 1. British will try to beat a 4 with their first support. Now they got to try to save it and beat that 3. They're in trouble. Just because of that 9, it makes it impossible for them not to withdraw. They both take 1 CD and then the attackers withdraw. Horse Guards and Life Guards both withdraw back to there. They're both unformed. Horse Guards have 1 CD. And the square stands and just kind of rocks the house. All right, that's the end of the charge phase. I don't know who's left to move. I have no clue. I know Carmichael. All right, let's do it. For the French, Deslorey moved the Guard Brigade closer. Oh man, getting in there brutal style. Too bad Husson was hesitant. He couldn't advance any farther. Most of these guys have charged. These 2 cavalry regiments or squadrons reformed, and Italians move forward, getting ready to move into place if the cavalry gets beat back. And yeah, woo! What a nightmare. These guys couldn't move. These guys have already moved in the charge. These guys already charged. Yeah, that's it. Full on nightmare. And then Carmichael moved forward in a column farther along the road back there. Most of the British stuff was already engaged or is hesitant, can't move anywhere. For skirmish fighting, I think we just got these 2 skirmish bases that can shoot, correct? The 9th Léger against the Halkett's brigade. 9th Léger, 7 shots into the British skirmishers. Too bad they were hesitant. That that would have been awesome. They blow away an entire skirmish screen base. Rifles now shooting back with 6 shots. Skirmishers for the 9th Léger go up to 2 casualties. It's just too tight for these guys to shoot over here. No shot. Domon is hesitant, so he can't fire. These guys will fire out to them and do counter battery fire on those gentlemen. cranking them up to 7 casualties. They'll do a 1 CD fire back at that battery. Raises that battery to 5 casualties. These guns are going to try to destroy Domon's brigade, wipe them out. One of them's got an artillery assault, the other one's got a regular assault, or regular firing. Domon's brigade is dispersed, and the French lose an ADC from Marshal Soult. Oh boy, they're both down to 5 now. That's a bang way to finish up the artillery section. We'll go over to volley fire over here on the right. 1st Battalion, 69th, firing into their not so fortunate friends. 32nd jumps up to 9 casualties. Oh, they're hurting. Alright, now we've got, they're 1 away from being, warned. So they're going to fire a regular battery, the 3rd Battalion, 69th, into the 40th. They jump to 8 casualties, and they're going to suffer a discipline check as reservists, needing an 8. The 40th retreats with their 8 casualties, fall back behind the Highland Brigade. Thankfully, nothing was in 6 inches to unform. 2nd Battalion, 69th, continues their firefight against the 69th of the British, the South Lincolnshire. Pushing them up 2 casualty to 7. Too bad the 2 British units that held are worn and both have fire discipline. Oh, they're not going to be able to return much fire. Hanoverian Field Battalion from, is it Bremen? Yep, they're going to fire at they have to fire at a skirmish screen. But unfortunately the skirmish screen's in front of them, so they can't, they're a hesitant brigade. They can only fire straight ahead. And that's not good. They can't fire at anybody. Hang on. It's not even time for these guys to shoot yet. French are going to fire at the 1st Royal Scots. 1st Royal Scots are now up to 8 casualties. Alright, that's the end of the French shooting. Go back down here. We got a worn 32nd with fire discipline. Oh gosh. Alright, they're going to fire a weak volley. 69th will also fire a weak volley. The French to 4 casualties. We've already discussed the Hanoverians. They can't shoot. Azov Battalion will fire at the French. They're unformed. This is going to be a weak volley. Crap. They pick up a fire discipline and they inflict 1 casualty on the French. 1st Royal Scots will fire a weak volley. An inferior volley into the French. 1st Royal Scots won't go down without a fight. They're up to 5 casualties now, and they take a discipline check, needing a 7. And the unformed, they passed the discipline check, by the way. And the unformed militia fires a weak volley against the French over here. And they go up to 2 casualties. Also, the Prussians in the movement phase went from retreat status to unformed. But brigade is still faltering. Everyone else is fired or taking part in hand-to-hand. That hand-to-hand will happen right now as the cuirassiers go against the Moscow Grenadiers. Russians going to be rolling 3 dice. The cuirassiers going to be rolling 7. Not the most climactic hand-to-hand as the cuirassiers take 1 additional casualty and are unformed at 2. Russians are forced to retreat and they have 2 casualties. They're way back there on the other side of the road. Oh, what a turn. 7th Coalition starting to buckle. I don't know. Still a lot of heavy hitters coming up on the French side. This left is starting to crack like an egg. Okay. That's the end of turn 8. We'll see you in turn 9. Alright, time for turn 9. Napoleon's core orders. Let's see what he's got going on. Looking around for Domon. Where is that guy? He's blown away, man. with the corps adjutant, he's going to re-roll the red die. Napoleon's got it all going on. Looking across the valley, somewhere over there's Wellington. He's got to see what he can do. He's going to try to re-roll his red die. The ADC seems to be a lot more valuable. Alright, Wellington holds on to 3 of the 4. Going to ADC availability for the French. They've only got 10 this time, no longer 11. Soult is able to pull out 6, and Ney gets 4. Let's flip over to the other side of the table and see how Picton and Uxbridge do. Uxbridge gets 3, Picton gets 4. Not looking good. Wellington, gonna be a butthead. Activate his spy that's sitting over in Marshal Soult's tent. Gonna re-roll all his ADCs again. Oh, it pays off. He only gets 3. Napoleon immediately gives his red die to Soult, popping him up to 4. So all the core orders have been played. Well done by Wellington. Ney goes in crazy style on Husson, gives him infantry assault, glory, and a reroll, just because he has too many commands for his bold to work. And then he only had 1 command left after that, and went with infantry assault with Peugeot. Everyone else is just kind of going for it on their own. Deslorey goes hesitant, and so does Mazarny. Everybody else is in fuego. Really could have used Big Mike. Oh, it's okay. Get him next time. It's going to put a reroll on Jamin with the Italians, and then go all in. Infantry assault, glory, and a reroll over here on Clouseau, who continues to drive into the heart of the coalition lines. All of Soult's dreams come true. Yes. Picton has 1 faltering brigade, so General Adam gets a divisional morale and a reroll. And then we do a forwards order on General Picton and trying to get him to the front line to replace some of these guys that need to be pulled back and healed, worked on a little bit. General Stedman and his Russians and his Russo-English brigade go hesitant, which doesn't help a whole lot. General Adams also able to rally, and his brigade is hesitant for this turn. So right now both commanders will be having an extra die for initiative because they both got 2 hesitant brigades in a division. General Picton puts a reroll on Johnstone on the right. He also puts a reroll on Mitchell on the left, his left, and then a divisional morale and a reroll on von Steinmetz, who's faltering. Everything's good to go for the Earl of Uxbridge, and von Steinmetz rallies to hesitant. 3 on 3 for morale. For initiative. Feels like morale. 7th Coalition seizes initiative. Oh, like a boss. Okay. Let's see what charges are in store for the 7th Coalition. 79th goes in and charges into the French here. Probably not the best move, but they had to try to disrupt the French who were just kind of seizing momentum. And in a move born out of desperation, 1st Dragoons goes in against the Vistula Legion square. Just got to try to break them. If they can break them, it's a whole new war. For the French, the 4th Battalion of the 70th goes in against the Austrian militia, which is always just a good time. And the 9th Léger goes in against the Hanoverians. So, 2 charges aside, the French cavalry chooses not to go in against the square. I think their plan is to get out of the way and let the Italians in. Alright, we'll start over here as the Highlanders go in against the French on the far coalition left. Both sides are going to roll 2d6. Looks like the French have 3 supports. Highlanders only have 1, but they are troop grade better, so they'll have 2. Highlanders are losing by 1. They're going to re-roll. Sorry, they're losing by 2. They're going to re-roll their 1. Winning by 1 right now. French are going to go for it since they have 3. They're going to try to beat a 3. Right now it's a draw. I think they're just going to go to combat. Yep. No point trying to push it. They're going to fight. Forgot to roll the closing fire for the French. Okay, well, I think I owed the 7th Coalition 1 for when I screwed up earlier last turn with General Mitchell got rolled for 2. Got rolled for both divisions for his divisional morale. So French closing fire just to add on casualties, but it won't affect the charge. Wouldn't affect it to hand anyways. They only take 1 casualty on the way in. The squares are going to support on this, as the British cavalry will have 2 rerolls because they're elite. Oh, these guys are not. They're the same. I forgot they're both grenadier or veteran. Excuse me. British will have 1 reroll. The French, the Polish and Swiss will have 3. Vistula Legion hits a home run with a 10. 1 reroll is going to reroll the 1. Hope for just something better than a 3-point loss right now. 1st and 2nd Dragoons will both withdraw, be unformed, and they'll both take 1 CD, and the Vistula Legion will stand in their squares. 1st and 2nd Dragoons pull back to the unformed to the rear of the battlefield, both with 1 casualty. The Queen's Own Hussars are sitting out there in the open, unformed. After all those units smash through them, Ponsonby kind of falls back into his power base. Those guys will probably... No, because they didn't retreat. So no, those guys aren't unformed. Sorry about that. They'll be formed, and they'll be able to free to move and get the heck out of there. 9th Léger versus the unformed Hanoverian militia reservists. This should be fun. 9th Léger has 2 supports. They got an extra support because they're better quality, and the militia will roll 3 dice because they're unformed. Militia will use their 1 reroll support here on to their rear to try to beat that 1. 9th Léger has 3 chances to beat a 4. They're going to go for it. And on the last one, they do it. Oh yeah, so that's 12 versus 5, a 7-point victory. Hanoverians get blown off the table. This battalion that was supporting takes 4 CDs of damage and retreats. That unit is down 2 close order units now. They're down to 1 KGL unit and 1 Hanoverian unit. And 1 more, and they're going to disperse, and they are faltering now. 35th takes a 2nd casualty as they fall back, and the 9th Léger moves up into the ground they crushed the Hanoverians out of. Not looking good for the home team. And over here we have another repeat of a fresh infantry battalion of the French versus a unformed militia battalion. So it's going to be 3 dice against 2. No supports for the Austrian militia, but they will get 1 support. Sorry, the French will get 2 supports, 1 from the rear and 1 for being a better quality troop. The Royal Welsh could probably support this, but they don't want to be anything involved in this nightmare. Yeah, the French will just take the win and shove the Austrians back and let them take 4 CDs of damage. Austrian militia retreats. They form up behind the British Guard, who are a formed unit, so that stops them from running off the board. They take 2 casualties. Once again, von Steinmetz has 2 simultaneous retreating battalions, and his unit falters again. Clouseau takes the ground again, shoving this 7th Coalition, 7th Brigade almost off the battlefield, just bullying them. Not looking good for the home team here. That ends the charge phase. Next we'll go on to movement. For the movement phase, the Queen Zone Hussars pulled back. They couldn't move because they'd been in hand-to-hand. They'd been in hand-to-hand. They weren't planning on moving. Italians moved up. Russians came out of square. Cavalry pulled back of the French. This is, oh, I forgot I moved the Carmichael's got to move his 12 inches or 9 inches. Can't remember if it's that or 2nd Brigade pulled back, and then this unit stepped over the top. They're going to fire at 2nd Brigade. They're not going to shoot because they had fire discipline. And I think that's it for movement. I'll move Carmichael real quick, and that'll be it. All right, all done. Carmichael's still streaming across the battlefield, trying to escape from Dodge. Not sure if they're going to make it. All right, skirmish firing, the coalition's got nothing. The Italians are the only ones who can fire. They're firing at the Russians in front of them with, I think 5 shots, right? All right, they inflict casualty number 4 on that Russian line battalion. All right, at effective range for the artillery section, British guns fire at the square. Oh, beautiful. Effective range, but they are worn. They inflict 1 casualty on the 1st Battalion of the Vistula Legion. Both of these guns fire at effective range. They're going to be bounced through at the Italians. Two casualties on the lead Italian unit. Bounce through, going through to the next unit. 2nd Battalion suffers 1 casualty as well. That's the end of the coalition guns. These guns will do counter battery against the British guns with a, I think it's an inferior volley or barrage. They put an 8th casualty onto that battery, and there's a chance for a bounce through into the Royal Horse Guards. Horse Guards go up to 2 casualties. So that cannonball tears one of their horses apart. No fun. Final battery for the French. Fire from over there into the 4th King Zone. Be an inferior volley at long range. Does 1 casualty, and there's a chance for a bounce through into the unit behind them. The 4th is up to 2 casualties. The 82nd, the King Zone Irish, is up to 1. All right, for volley fire, everything over here is engaged or is losing fire discipline. They all took part in the melee or the charge phase. The 9th Léger was in the charge phase. They can't be shot at. Go over here to the, I think it's the Azov Battalion firing down at the French. They have fire discipline though. Whoa. French line battalions up to 3 casualties. Nice shot by those gentlemen. I marked these guys to shoot, but they took part in the charge, so they cannot shoot. We'll go over to the 1st Royal Scots. There'd been this duel at point blank range with this French battalion from the 27th. 1st Royal Scots are up to 8 casualties. Oh, it's not going to be the best volley. 3rd Battalion of the 27th goes up to 7 casualties. They are worn. They take a discipline check as reservists, needing an 8. Nice shooting as they go unformed. Strong work. These guys took part in the charge. They can't shoot. These guys took part in the charge, but these gentlemen over here have been wailing on each other. They can blast away. 27th, who are worn, they're going to go ahead and fire a weak volley, or an inferior volley, excuse me, at the 1st Battalion of the 36th.
Prepare to fire. 5, 2.
Oh, no effect. It's terrible. Going on to the 2nd Queen Zone. This will be a full strength volley. They only have 1 casualty. 2nd Battalion 36 gets hammered. They're going to get a destiny roll, plus they jumped up to 5 casualties and a discipline check. Going to need a 7 for their discipline. Oh yeah, baby, they take it like a boss. Here comes the destiny roll. Bunch of officers get blown away and the brigade falters in the confusion. Wow, what a mess. All right, let's shoot back from this brigade left to right. Firing back at the 2nd Queen Zone that just wasted them.
Prepare to fire. 5, 2.
They go up to 4 casualties and need a discipline check themselves. All right, looking to beat a 7. They go unformed. This is horrific over here. 1st Battalion 36 firing away at the 27th that already has 7 casualties. 27th takes 5 more casualties, dispersing the battalion, faltering the brigade. This is horrific over here. Wow. So both of these facing brigades have both faltered each other. We'll get like a one-shot weak thing out of here because they are worn and unformed. Increases the 1st Royal Scots to 9 casualties. Oh, horrible. 2nd Battalion 105th fires into the Azov Battalion with a full volley. Russians get staggered with a 3 casualties and a discipline check. They're unformed, so this is going to be a needing an 8. I don't think you can get double unformed. Let me just check the rules, but I think they just stay unformed. Yeah, I guess we're just ultra unformed. And then on the far right over here, French Line Battalion firing into these guys as they recover their fire discipline. 3 more casualties, raising them to 11. What a nightmare. That will finish turn 9. We'll go into turn 10. Whoa. It's getting very, very savage. Both sides are just beating the heck out of each other. All right, see you in a minute. To go back in time real quick, I knew I was forgetting a hand-to-hand. The Highlanders and the French have to fight real quick. Let's do it. The Highlanders are a higher grade. They're going to get 6 die versus the French with 5. Absolute disaster as the Highlanders choke, do 1 casualty. They take 4 themselves. They lose by 3. They retreat. They're back with 5 casualties back there. They unform the 2 battalions behind them. French are now worn at 6 casualties. All right, Wellington, Corps Orders. Most convincing Corps Orders ever rolled. Great job, almost got 4 6s. All right, see what Napoleon can do. Got a 1 on his ADC dice. Gonna roll that, see if he can save it. Oh yeah, baby. All right, British rolling for ADC availability. They got 11 attempts. Napoleon's gonna break out his spy thing and make the Earl of Uxbridge re-roll his. He would have had 6 ADCs. Picton already had 6 too, so he'll re-roll his. Well, it took away 1 ADC, but too bad the Earl of Uxbridge is going to play Chief of Staff and go up to 7. Napoleon has played his Corps Order. See how the Army du Nord does. Absolute disaster. Soult gets 3. He's going to play his chief of staff, which he hasn't played yet. I think that'll wipe out all of his CNC orders. He'll re-roll the 2 he missed and pick up 2 more. Soult now has 7 ADCs. Ney only has 2, and he's already played chief of staff. Soult is now out of CNC orders. Thankfully, Ney does not have a faltering brigade. Ney will use his 2 commands on Peugeot to do a flank charge into the Highland Brigade. Oh, that should be brutal. Going out of order a little bit, but let's see how active Ney is. See what kind of what kind of miracle he can work out with his 2 guys. Ney is fully active. Oh, sweet. Let's go over here to my boy Picton. He's going to try an infantry assault with pack. Even after that defeat, just try to counter out the French. If they can charge before the French can attack, they can get out of that trap. Then he's got a reroll on General Adam, who's faltering, plus a divisional morale, and then an artillery assault and a reroll on the port side battery. Stewart back here goes hesitant, which is not good. Hawker goes hesitant, but he has a reroll. Halkett goes hesitant, but Wellington's going to give him his red die for the reroll right now. He goes hesitant, and General Adam back here is wavering with his, but he has a reroll. Oh, General Adams should have stayed with the wavering. He is hosed. Oh, they were on the edge of glory. They're on the edge of the battlefield. So when they retreat, they're the last 2 units in the brigade. So the brigade is gone. They lose an ADC as they flee the battlefield. The King's German Legion and the Field Battalion from I think it was Brennan. I think it was. They are gone. Oh, disaster. Duke of Uxbridge with his 7 ADCs. He's got 2 faltering brigades, I think. He better pack them in tight. All right, Earl of Uxbridge is going to put a forwards order on Doug, hoping to get him off the battlefield. Preserve some kind of victory. He's got brigade rerolls on both of his faltering brigades, and he's going to put a brigade reroll on Ponsonby, who's probably going to start rocking the house and getting the hell out of here too. Carmichael passes. Mitchell also passes. Ponsonby fails. Von Steinmetz is wavering. And right now, Johnstone has got a Swakepu. No, Johnstone also has a wavering. Sorry. Let's do the wavering rolls. Let's do them. Let's do Johnstone first. Gonna try to beat it. Okay, the first battalion second, they were unformed, so they retreat. They take 4 CDs. They're on the edge of the world here. The 88th and the 28th both go unformed and take 2 CDs of damage. And their skirmishers are fine because they have 3 bases, sorry. And they are wavering. Second has 5 casualties. The 5th has, the 88th has 2, and the 28th has 1, and they're both unformed. Now this brigade's in trouble. Right now they're wavering. If they waver, these 2 units retreat. This unit disintegrates. That's over half of the brigade. So the entire unit, the brigade will disperse, and they'll lose an ADC. They basically have to beat a 3 or they are totally hosed. That entire brigade disperses. They're done. All right, this is turning into a butt kicking. Probably a 3.5 hour mark. Can't even get to Soult's orders yet. The British have they've been worn down, or 7th Coalition, sorry. They've lost 2 2 brigades. Basically, multiple other brigades are combat ineffective. They're buckling. I'd say the cavalry and the guard were able to escape. French will get a win. British will get like a tactical victory because they were able to. I'm sure with the forwards order, let's see how far Doug could have got with his 12 inches, just for fun. The guard would have gone 22 inches, which is probably right about here. The French would have cut the road here. So that would have been a bit of a fight. They probably would have retreated off this direction, you know, bypassed the road. If they were smart, I just would leave the road and come down here. Cavalry would flee off the battlefield too and get away. British would definitely lose some troops that wouldn't get away and have to surrender, lose a lot of artillery pieces. But yeah, good battle. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun doing the other tactics. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'll keep this minimum because we're already way over the 3-hour mark, and that's a hell of a big battle. And we got one more coming at you. I'm going to paint some Russians. Maybe I'll get another British battalion done. I might take a shot at some Polish. We'll see. I want to have that last big battle before I take a break and go on to probably Hail Caesar will be next. I'm looking forward to that. Got to paint some units for that one. So boom. I'll probably go on a painting fest here for several days to get that done, and then probably aim, you know, hopefully continue to recover. And yeah, at least I'm off work until I'll go back to work on Thursday, so I should really get a lot of painting done. And I'm up for painting now. Got my gameplay taken care of, and these games are massive. And I hope you enjoyed it. I freaking loved it. And have a great Sunday and rest of the weekend. Have a great week. You guys are fantastic, and thanks for everything you do. I'll see you later. Bye.